FanDuel's Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup is presented by WinStar Farm and by Phasic Tipton.
The Breeders' Cup is back at Del Mar, and for the next week, FanDuel TV is waking up bright and early to bring you all the gallops, jogs, and breezes as we lead into the two biggest days of racing here where the turf meets the surf. It's day 1 of 7 from this little slice of heaven. It's breakfast at the Breeders' Cup. Good morning from beautiful Del Mar as the sun is just now peeking over the horizon, and we are getting ready to go for the first of 7 breakfast shows as we lead in to the Breeders' Cup World Championships. I'm Mike Joyce, joined by my very good friends and my colleagues from the Breakfast at the Derby shows, Simon Bray and Joe Talamo, fresh in from Kentucky. Gentlemen, it is almost here.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah, good to be back with you,
Simon, you look great. Mike, you look good.
I don't believe you, but I do believe that we're going to have a great show coming up. We've got a lot of action to get to. Simon, what are you looking forward to most?
For me, it's Sovereignty, because I think he's going to put himself in the history books if come Saturday with the Breeders' Cup Classics. Only 6 horses have won the Kentucky Derby and gone on to win the Breeders' Cup Classic. And when you're talking about Alashiba, Ferdinand, Sunday Silence, I mean, that's a storied list. He could join that list.
How about you, Joe?
I mean, there's so many coming in here, but I think journalism for me, he's run 7 times in the last 6 months, and it's run hard. He's been first or second in all those races. So just to see how his energy is going, and I mean, the field for the Classic is just one of the best we've seen in quite a while.
And Sovereignty's already here. He's making his way out to the track right now. Journalism, of course, a lot of stories around this horse, and of course, the late jockey change. We'll be talking about that, but most importantly, looking at his final preps.
Yeah, and I mean, he looks tremendous on track, especially just galloping. His energy looks really good, and really we've seen that since the Kentucky Derby.
So, Simon, Sovereignty looms above the class, right? Yeah. He is the one that everyone is looking toward, your likely favorite in the Breeders' Cup Classic. But at this stage in the game, we're not looking for much. We're just looking for nothing to go wrong.
That's exactly right. I mean, we know what they are, and, you know, what I'm going to do a little later on in the show, which I think is quite interesting, give you a timeline of Sovereignty's works dating back to January all the way through up until before the Travis, and now hopefully we'll get a work from him tomorrow or Monday. So you're going to see the development, the progress. I mean, he has just blossomed in front of our eyes, and I think this is one of the best 3-year-old crops we've seen in several years as well. 2
things that make this show. Joe Talamo, and then all these people I'm about to show you, because our reporters are spanning the entire country. We've got Michelle Yu at Santa Anita. We've got Scott Hazelton out of Keeneland. Caton's at Churchill Downs. And then Andy and Joaquin right here at Del Mar. And there is a lot here at Del Mar, Andy, as a number of horses have already made their way into California.
Mike, yes, tons of horses arrived last night and the day prior, but Sovereignty could not look any better. We just saw him walk out onto the track. I do believe he is going to go for a nice, easy gallop today. He did jog yesterday, but so far, all systems a go. Sovereignty, I haven't seen him all summer long, but he looks just as good as he did since the Kentucky Derby. His weight looks great, his coat very shiny and healthy, and just radiating confidence this morning, Joaquin.
Hey, Andy, good morning to you. From the Kentucky Derby and Belmont winner and Sovereignty to the Preakness winner and Journalism, who is right behind me getting a bath here on the wash rack. So his Preakness win for Journalism, that was 5 months ago. Since that time, second in the Belmont Stakes. He wins the Haskell Stakes at Monmouth Park, and then most recently was second in the Pacific Classic behind Fierceness, facing older horses for the very first time. He's been one of the best and consistent horses that we have seen all year long. And now he's trying to do something that his daddy Curlin did back in 2007, and that is close out his 3-year-old season with the victory in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Now, as far as today, his work is done. Journalism, he went out to the track roughly about 6:15, galloped about 1.5 miles. As you can see, he's right behind the wash rack. He cooled out, got a bath, and he is going to be done for the morning. Now, as far as his final work, Michael McCarthy told me that is going to be on Sunday morning for Journalism right here at Del Mar. So that's the very latest on your Preakness winner as we send you to Michelle Yu at Santa Anita. Michelle, good morning.
Joaquin, I heard you talking a lot about journalism and Michael McCarthy, but not the important stuff like what did he pack? How much laundry soap did he bring? Why he's at Del Mar so early? I came to Michael McCarthy's barn this morning and he wasn't there trying to get away from me. So that is now your job to harass him until I can make it down there on Tuesday. As far as works here at Santa Anita go, we've already had a couple of good juvenile works, including Brandt working in company with some unexpected company as well, and Intrepido worked earlier on this morning. We have a couple more works to catch up with, and we'll see what kind of mischief we can get into here at the Great Race Place, Scott.
Well, all the action this morning here at Keeneland happened right at first light at 7:30. We had the sprint contender Mulligan work for Rudy Brisset, and then Cherie DeVoe had 3 workers back to back to back. The big filly, She Feels Pretty, worked. We also had Vava and Caton Rebel Red. And also later on in the show, we're going to have an opportunity to spend a morning last week with this filly, She Feels Pretty, as she put in her second to last work for the Breeders' Cup.
Scott, what we lack in numbers, we made up for in activity. There are 13 horses remaining here at Churchill Downs that are all preparing for the Breeders' Cup. They'll be leaving over the course of today, tomorrow, and Monday. The last shipment will head out. But in the meantime, we had 2 workers yesterday for Will Walden, and I did catch up with Rhetorical the day after his work. We also had 6 actually horses out on the track today, including Mark Cassie's big filly for the distaff. He had some very strong opinions about where his filly fits in the field, and we followed all the rest of the workers as well. As again, it was a busy and equally chilly morning, guys. For what it's worth, 40 degrees when the horses were working before the sun came up.
Caton, the only thing I can tell you is maybe grab a plane and come to Del Mar because it's just beautiful here.
Yeah, this is absolutely perfect.
I don't even know if I need the pullover. It's like 62 degrees. It's a wonderful day to be at the races, or be at the racetrack at any rate, and a wonderful day to catch these horses. We're going to take a look at Sovereignty right now, coming onto the track. Joe, tell me about how important it is when you're galloping horses, when you're working horses of this caliber, at this point out, we're a week away. What's going into your mind as a jockey? What's going into the trainer's mind? What's the communication like?
Yeah, as far as working and galloping before a race like this, I feel like the worst thing you could do is go too fast. All the prep work is pretty much done from here. You just want to kind of be cool, calm, and collective. And I mean, he looks an absolute picture right here.
He's one of the best looking horses on the ground. If you get a chance, if you come out to the races when he's running, come up to the paddock and take a look at him. He's an outstanding individual physically. I mean, what he's done on the racetrack, you know, he looks the part. It's unbelievable. And horses, when they change venue, when they ship into a new racetrack, the first day they're usually a little more aggressive. So that's the most anxious day for an exercise rider, to get around the racetrack. And you can see the rider there has just got one hold of him. And from the get-go, you don't want to move, right, Joe? Galloping, you just want to set your hands there and just maintain that one hold and let him go around there in a decent sort of cadence.
Yeah, this is absolutely picturesque of what you're supposed to do. You mentioned exercise rider, just keep your hands down, don't move too much. But I mean, he's such a pro. You could see the body language of him. He has his ears straight up, looks like he's really enjoying himself. And from a fitness standpoint, at this point, you're not going to gain any more fitness 7 days out. You just want to keep them really happy, and he looks very, very happy out there.
I mean, that's like driving a Ferrari and your foot is on the gas pedal about 10% of the way down, and you just know at any moment you could just floor it and you would go.
And the way Bill Mott trains, obviously you were his assistant for years. You learned a lot from him. I mean, he is as meticulous and deliberate as any trainer out there.
Yeah. I mean, case in point, you missed the Preakness, right? I mean, there's been a lot of discussion about that, whether he would have been a Triple Crown winner. I think he would. But, you know, when I reflect back on it, I think it takes more guts in a situation like that to miss the Preakness than to actually go ahead and run in it. I mean, that takes some serious plums to make that decision, along with the ownership group. So, I mean, everything is attention to detail. You know, he loaded him on the van at Saratoga himself. I saw him walk out into the van, and I mean, he's on top of everything. And this horse has been primed for this race, you know, ever since the Travis.
We talk about the kind of horse he is. When we were going into the Derby, he was a horse that was going to get that mile and a quarter. He's the best mile and a quarter horse in the world right now. He just keeps coming at you. But I feel like the second half of his campaign, Joe, he found a cruising gear where he's closer to the pace and he doesn't have as much work to do, and that just makes him even more dangerous.
I feel like ever since the Belmont, all three of his races, the Belmont, Jim Dandy, and Travers, to your point, he's been able to lay a lot closer. Before that, he would give himself way too much to do, 8-10 lengths back, but he was good enough to move forward after that. But, I mean, that's a whole other dynamic. When you're able to lay a lot closer and be able to move forward with those horses, very, very dangerous.
And you're going to see that when I show you the progression of his works through the year. His races emulate his works, or his works emulate his races. He was slow into stride early on in the year working. When you get to the Kentucky Derby, he's on the bridle, and Travis, he's a much different horse. And all that is through development and experience of racing, getting more aggressive, putting on more weight. I mean, he's a bigger horse than he was back in January. He looks tremendous.
We had a great rivalry during the Triple Crown between Journalism and Sovereignty. Sovereignty 2-0, Journalism 0-2 against. Sovereignty's the only horse that's finished in front of this horse all year. I mean, Journalism, he went into the Derby as the favorite. He is as talented as any horse in the game. He's still unproven, I'm doing finger quotes here, unproven at a mile and a quarter. But the caveat there is those mile and a quarter races were the Belmont, the Derby, and the Pacific Classic where he lost to Fierceness.
Yeah, and I think that's what's kind of helped Sovereignty, where Journalism, still I feel like even in the Pacific Classic, might have been a little bit further back than they wanted to, where Sovereignty, I feel like his last few races is laying a lot closer. And when you get in tougher company, like the Breeders' Cup Classic and with Olders, you definitely can't give up 2 or 3 lengths, because that's going to be the difference in the end.
Yeah, you could do it against, early on in your career against maidens, but when you start going to the top level, I mean, these races are won by heads and necks, and you're giving up 4 or 5 lengths at the start. That's a big difference, and that in turn leads us to the story of the rider change. Journalism's only ever had 2 jockeys. Rispoli Gonzalez rode him in his maiden breaking victory down here, Ricky Gonzalez, but Jose Ortiz has been employed to ride, and the sole reason, I don't know this, but reading between the lines, is probably to have him laying a little closer in the early stages of the race. That would be my guess.
Look, it's great material for us to talk about from now until Breeders' Cup, but if you're Umberto Rispoli, you're clearly not happy about this. And what's the upgrade from Umberto to Jose Ortiz? I personally believe Jose Ortiz is the best jockey in the world. It's either him, his brother, or Flavian Prat. So if he's available, you go for him, but it's not like Umberto's some tomato can. He has had a ton of success, and this was really the horse that kind of brought him to the big time. There's a lot going on with that story.
Yeah, and I mean, Umberto knows this horse just about as good as anyone, just because he's worked him so much. But I'm sure Jose Ortiz is going to get together with the camp, Michael McCarthy and Eclipse, and come up with a game plan, what they want to do.
Yeah, well, Joaquin has Jose Ortiz's number, so he's been trying to get the latest on it. Kino, what do you got?
Yeah, more on that topic here in just a second. We're still at the Michael McCarthy barn here, where Journalism is cooling out after he had a 1.5 mile gallop earlier this morning, just about 6:15. His last race was in the Pacific Classic at the end of August. That was on the 30th of August. Since that time, he's had 5 works over at Santa Anita, and he just came into Del Mar earlier this week. I was speaking to Michael McCarthy earlier this morning, and the news that he shared with me is that the new rider, Jose Ortiz, is going to be flying in from Kentucky to work Journalism on Sunday morning right here at Del Mar. No doubt this has been some of the biggest news leading into the Breeders' Cup Classic this year, with the rider change going from Umberto Rispoli to Jose Ortiz. But guys, that's the news Michael McCarthy just shared with me right now, that Jose Ortiz is going to be flying into Southern California to work Journalism in his final drill before the Breeders' Cup Classic. That's going to be on Sunday right here at Del Mar.
Thank you very much for that, Joaquin, and we will be eagerly anticipating his final prep, but really it's going to be a learning experience for Jose to get to know this horse a bit.
Yeah, and I think the one thing Jose is going to do is just a feeling process, just to see how fluid he is and go around there. And I don't think, especially 6 days out, He's not going to try and zip around there in 58. I would think it's going to be a minute 101 at best, just to kind of cruise around, feel his cadence, and go from there.
To use Simon's analogy, even though he's getting in the Ferrari for the first time, he's not chirping the wheels, right?
No, trust me. He wants to, but he knows not.
If he does, there might be another rider change.
Hope you don't have a call on the Classic yet. Let's go back to Santa Anita with Michelle Yu.
walking out right now with Brave Deb. She's about to go 6 furlongs, if I'm not mistaken. I know everybody loves a horse with a pretty face. There is not a prettier face on the backside than this one. Brave Deb, look at how cute you are. She's got a very unique marking with the big interrupted blaze. Look at her looking right at the camera. Are you guys going training track or main track? Training track for this filly who's slated for the juvenile fillies turf.
I mean, she's easy on the eyes as well, isn't she? I mean, Brave Deb. That's the thing. For me, I'm not an experienced horseman like the two of you. I'm going to see all these horses and be like, wow, they all look great. But I'm not wrong, right? I mean, these are the best horses in the world competing at the highest level. They should all look great.
Yeah, and that's what's good about this work show. That's when you know something's wrong, when they don't look good or if they're not working properly like they were before, but especially Richard Mandela's horses. I feel like every single one of them looks like that. I mean, she is 2 for 2.
Yeah, I mean, this is the cream of the crop. It's like taking the top 5 NBA players from every team and having them in a competition one weekend. I mean, they all look great, right? You're looking for somebody that's probably not quite 100%, not performing, not feeling right, and that's what you're looking at. We don't want that to happen, but everyone's going to look great working unless something is amiss.
Let's get back out to Kentucky with Kate and Bradar.
All right, Will Take It has been waiting very patiently for his close-up, and I'm told he is a little nippy, so I keep my distance. But you can see that his workout this morning didn't take a bit out of him. He worked at about 7:15 Eastern, right when they opened the track after the first renovation break, with exercise rider Emerson Chavez on him, his regular rider in the morning. Now he's pointing for the dirt mile, and the workout, while well in hand, was actually really quick, 47 3/5 of a second, which was the second fastest workout of all morning long here at Churchill Downs. That's a pretty nice move in comparison to any of the other times we saw, and also over the past few days. Will Take It, as you can see, is kind of a high-energy horse, but in his most recent start was coming off a layoff. He acted up in the gate, got a little keyed up, and stumbled coming out of the gate, spotting the field and turning in a lackluster performance. The barn feels pretty confident that they can put that race behind them. He will do much better now that he has a race under his belt and is able to get back into a bit more regular racing rhythm. But he's a little bit of a sleeper who is definitely training in the right direction as he heads to Del Mar for the same connections who, ownership-wise, had some success with a similarly named horse, Will Take Charge.
And I can tell that everything you said right there, Kate, was 100% accurate because Will Take It was nodding along in agreement.
Yeah. Yes, he was.
I was pausing for longer laughter. At any rate, Will Take It. He's coming off of a 6th-place finish in the ACAC, but I will say this about Dallas Stewart. The one thing I love about Dallas, it's a little bit like Wayne Lucas. He doesn't care what his price is. He doesn't care who's in the race. His horse is doing good, he's going.
Morning line means nothing with Dallas Stewart.
Absolutely nothing. Yeah, if his horse is doing well, he's going. And that's why you see him. How many times have we seen Dallas Stewart or Wayne Lucas back in the day winning big races at enormous prices?
Yeah, and Dallas coming up under Wayne Lucas, he definitely learned that from just if you're going to take a shot doing in the biggest race.
Exactly right.
So we'll have more from Churchill Downs and more from Keeneland as we span the entire country. These are the most important days leading up to the Breeders' Cup. We'll have horses shipping in. We'll have more here from Del Mar. There's actually more horses here at this time than a year ago when the Breeders' Cup was there. We are going to take a break. When we return on The Breakfast Show, we will take a closer look at some of the contenders, and we will check in with our reporters once again.
Elegance is an attitude.
He's inside the 20. End zone, touchdown!
Join a club that has rewards for everyone. I'm talking birthday perks, free daily game, and other stuff that's fun.
Designed for people who love thrills like me and her and him, and with the weekly bonus back, our thrills are filled up to the brim.
So we're calling all, calling all, calling all, trillionaires, calling all, calling all, calling all, trillionaires, calling all.
Calling all trillionaires. FanDuel Casino.
NetJets is more. And with NetJets, you get more. More exceptional service. Heightened safety standards. And anytime access to where you're needed most. Do more and miss less with NetJets.
This is given way, coming by the 16th hole, and Mystic Dan has now come through on the inside. It is Mystic Dan down toward the inside with the lead in the final 16th. Forever Young, Sierra Leone is coming. These three coming down to the wire. Who's it going to be? Oh, it's the photo of the Derby.
Mystic Dan, and one of the most thrilling finishes we've ever seen in the Kentucky Derby. Took home the roses in 2024, part of an historic double by Kenny McPeek, in which the Rapido Anna won the Oaks, and Mystic Dan won the Derby, and he is slated to be back in the Dirt Mile this year.
Yeah, he seems like he's starting to round back into form. He won the Lucas Classic last time out. Didn't have the best of trips either. Was blocked the whole way down the stretch with Francisco Arrieta and just got up by 3/4 of a lane.
I think it's the right decision, Mike, as we take a look at Kentucky Derby winners with multiple graded stakes wins since 2000. Mystic Dan, 2 graded stakes wins this year. Minor stakes wins, a blame at Oaklawn Park, and then the race that Joe just referenced. The decision between the Classic and here, I think they made the right move. As deep as the Classic is, the big question is now, he hasn't run this short of a distance in well over a year and a half, so he's cutting back to a mile, but I think they made the right move coming here instead of the 1.25 miles.
We say that the Dirt Mile is loaded with talent, though. You have Full Serrano in there, Nisos is on the pre-entries. I mean, that could be as tough of a race as any.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very wide open.
Let's take a look at this workout. 4 furlongs, 48-1. Simon, what are you looking for here?
Well, again, we're in a situation here where a horse is, he's in good form. I just wonder if they want him to move along just a little bit, get a little more speed into him, I'm not saying flat out, but just keep him on his toes, a sharp half-mile work, just because he's backing up to a mile here.
Yeah, that is a good point because even a mile and an eighth, which he ran last time, to a mile, totally different cadence. They're going to go at least a second or two quicker to half a mile versus going a mile and an eighth. So that's one thing going into the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. You don't want to leave yourself too much to do against those horses. So to your point, and even 2 works back, he went 59-4. So that is a great point for a horse like him that is going to be coming from behind. You definitely want to put a little zip into him. That way they're not too far back.
You can see the rider checking his watch the whole time there. He was under strict instructions to hit a mark as far as the time goes. And yeah, I mean, look, he's got a shot in here. And to Joe's point about a mile, Mike, we've been here years. I mean, there's not, I'm not big into track biases, but there's none bigger than the mile dirt races here at Del Mar. You have to be laying close. You need speed. We saw it all summer. We saw it all last summer. You can't be coming from 9-10 lengths back.
The one thing I would say about the mile distance, 2 of his best races were at a mile and a 16th. I don't know how much of a difference you want to weigh there between that 16th of a mile, but his Southwest, yes, it was in the slop. He blew competition away by 8 lengths, but then he came back and he was second off a layoff last May when he returned in a stakes race at Oaklawn Park. He ran a 101 Beyer. So I don't know that the mile is going to be too sharp for him.
I mean, to Simon's point, especially here at Del Mar, you'll see some of the mile races going 45 flat, and the first, second, and third horse, it's just hard to catch him. So to your point, I think the speed bias could be a disadvantage, so he's definitely going to hopefully lay a little closer.
And post, Joe, that run into the first turn, big fields. Post position draw is key for this race.
Well, right now, I mean, it's a little early to be drinking, and Tawny Port is an after-dinner drink. But right now, Annie's standing by with Tawny Port.
Mike, tons of horses are cooling out and getting baths right now, but we just had to stop by the Miguel Clement barn because Tawny Port just absolutely stand out. He's a very high energy horse. Some really good back-to-back second place efforts coming into the Breeders' Cup Turf. He's run some big races both up at Woodbine and at Kentucky Downs, but something to note about him, he's a very high energy horse. Both times I saw him at Kentucky Downs, he was quite lathered up, very on the bridle, but that's just character to his disposition. He trained first thing this morning because sometimes it's better for a high energy or nervous horse to get out in the dark, get out early because, you know, just like people, some horses are morning people, they get up, they're bouncing off the walls, they want to get to the track, and Tawny Port certainly that kind of character, but he's kind of stealing the show here at the Miguel Clement barn. Like I said, he got in last night, trained perfectly this morning, and is just an absolute ball of energy in his stall.
You should find a race for that horse.
Right?
Thank you, Andy. Yes, Tawny Port has been very good throughout the season. Oh, we got photo bombed by another Breeders' Cup horse. Who was that? Was that purple or blue?
Couldn't tell.
Yeah, I couldn't either.
I think blue. I'm just guessing.
As am I. At any rate, we're going to have a number of workers today that we're going to bring you. We already saw Mystic Dan. That was the first work of the day, but we're going to try and get you more. The track going to be open here in a little bit. Right now, we're going to get out to Santa Anita. We have a work from Brave Deb. By the way, thanks to all our friends at First Racing for providing these camera shots up at Santa Anita. It is a team effort. The entire industry comes together for the Breeders' Cup. And, of course, Santa Anita and First Racing, one of our longest partners, and they are bringing you all these works as we take a look at Brave Deb. So this is the horse that Michelle was walking out on the training track there inside the turf course at Santa Anita.
Yeah, I mean, she's a very aggressive filly. Look at it here. And you'll see this a lot. A lot of trainers work their turf horses on the training track at Santa Anita, but she's never going to work in company. Look at her go here. She's very aggressive, exercise rider. I was there for both her wins. In fact, I interviewed Mirko de Muro after the Surfer Girl at Santa Anita. This is a big mount for him. International acclaimed jockey, trying to get a foothold here in Southern California, but she's got one way to go, Joe, and that's, you know, to the front and keep on going.
Yeah, and I guarantee that the work instructions for this was just try and go as slow as you can. 4 works back, she went 45-2. You never see.
And this is a turf horse.
Yeah, you rarely see Richard Mandela horses, if ever, go that quick. So I mean, this is again, we're what, 7 days out, 8 days out. This is just nice, cool and calm, and you could see her. She's starting to kind of come back, has her ears up, and that's exactly what you want to see, especially that last quarter mile. Just let her kind of cruise on in really nice.
I mean, a lot of times we say, oh, you know, turf horse is working over the dirt, but as fast as she goes, and when you look at her pedigree, Mike, she's by Authentic, a Derby winner, a Breeders' Cup Classic winner, out of a mare by Street Sense. She's 2 for 2 on the grass. At some point, she might end up on this surface, on the dirt, especially the way she moves.
This isn't dirt, though. She's working on the synthetic.
The synthetic, yeah.
Yeah, this is the synthetic. The synthetic is fairly new. Did you ever have a chance to work horse on the synthetic at Santa Anita after they put it in?
I did last summer.
Okay.
And,
did you?
Yeah, and a lot of trainers will work their turf horses on it. I know back in Kentucky they do the same thing at Turfway Park. A lot of horses from Turfway will go. A lot of turf horses will work at Turfway, and then it'll switch off to the turf really good.
For more workers, we're going to check in with Joaquin. Who can we expect to see later today?
Yeah, Mike, it's been a busy morning for trainer Michael McCarthy, at least from his 2-year-olds. He already had Stark Contrast. He's going to be running in the juvenile turf. Stark Contrast, he went out early this morning at 5:45 and breezed earlier. He went 5.8, but he also has a couple of 2-year-old fillies that are going to be breezing right now at 7:45. La Ville Lumiere and Meaning, they're going to breeze as a team coming up here in just about 15 minutes or so. La Ville Lumiere, she tried the dirt last race. She was 3rd in the Oakley Stakes. She has 2nd preference in the juvenile fillies. However, she has 1st preference in the Breeders' Cup juvenile fillies turf. She's going to be working in company with Meaning, who's lightly raced. She only has 1 start, and that was a maiden win in her career debut at Los Alamitos. She's going to be running in the juvenile fillies. As I mentioned, those 2 fillies for trainer Mike McCarthy, who's right behind me over here, they're going to be breezing at 7:45. From Mike McCarthy's barn, as we go right across here, you can see Chad Summers right there. He brings in Dry Powder. She's a daughter, a gun runner, who's going to be in in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Dry Powder, 3-year-old filly, 6 lifetime starts, 2 victories. She won the Captain Sophia Stakes 2 starts back. That's the local prep for the Grade 1 Cotillion Stakes, where she nearly pulled the upset at 7-1, finishing second defeat at a neck. Spoke to Chad a few moments ago. He told me, guys, that Dry Powder is also expected to breeze, coming up right now, Mike, at just about 7:45 in just about 15 minutes.
Thank you very much. And I believe in the Superman, Jack, that is Chad Summers, the trainer right there, getting ready. Right now, let's check in with Michelle Yu.
I'm with a very impatient special guest, you guys. I actually came back and found Straight No Chaser, because what's a Breeders' Cup breakfast show without a Breeders' Cup winner on it? And he went out this morning at 5.
He's A+.
We're going to take another break because, we've worked for like 28 minutes in a row. When we return, those tractors will be off the racetrack. They are resurfacing. We are going to have a number of workers hitting the track here at Del Mar and across the country. More on Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup after this.
Grabs the rebound, pushes it ahead, finds the open man, he puts it up, scores!
New customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, play your game.
Douglas trusts Prevagen for his brain, and this is his story.
I'm Douglas, and I'm from Chicago. I was looking for something specifically for my brain. That's when I chose Prevagen. And the confidence I've received from Prevagen allows me to continue to do those things that I love. I have been taking Prevagen for more than 9 years, and it really works for me.
Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years.
John Deere 3 Series tractor lets you tackle those bigger jobs with simple, intuitive controls that put the power in your hands and quick connect solutions to swap implements quickly with ease. From rotary cutter to rotary tiller to front loader. Take on all your property's biggest challenges. You just have to get in the seat. John Deere is the official partner of the Breeders' Cup World Championships.
Ladies and gentlemen, Keeneland welcomes you to the inaugural championship sale for this one-of-a-kind sales event, right here at the center of the World Championships. Your opportunity to play at the highest level is about to begin. Welcome to the Keeneland Championship Sale.
Established in 1982, Rood and Riddle Equine Hospital is a worldwide leader in equine healthcare, providing a full menu of specialties of services and treatment for all breeds and disciplines of horses, from the family companion to the high-performance athlete. Learn more today about Rood and Riddle Equine Hospital. Visit roodandriddle.com or call 888-773-4838.
Journalism is getting closer now. He's behind a wall of horses. He's looking for a place to go, and he's got nowhere to go. Oh, he bumped hard with goal-oriented. In the meanwhile, Gosker's running the race of his life, and Sandman has entered the scene, and he has moved up on the far outside. Journalism is still running on. He's back into second. He might even win it. Here's the wire. Oh, my goodness. Journalism has won the Preakness Stakes.
It was such a brilliant performance by Journalism that day. And I will say this about Umberto Rispoli. As tough as this decision was to take him off, I do want to give credit where credit is due. I think a lot was made out of those rides, Joe. But what did those rides yield? They yielded a win in the Santa Anita Derby, a win in the Preakness, a win in the Haskell, and he was a runner-up to Sovereignty twice, and Sovereignty might be the best horse in the world. At some point, I feel like there should be a little no harm, no foul assessment, don't you?
Yes, I will say I was there for that Preakness. That was the first time I had ever been there. Watching what happened at the 3/16 pole, I thought for sure Gosner was just going to win, and that was it. But for him to run that race and get up in the end, absolutely sensational.
And there's no telling, even with Jose Ortiz, that the horse might lay closer, right? I mean, these horses have habits, the way they run, we'll see. Or if the result turns out to be, what they want.
I feel like Umberto Rispoli is a jockey that's never going to be properly rated. When he was winning everything on the turf out here, we said he was the second coming of Fernando Toro, and he was a Hall of Fame caliber talent. Or he's a bum because he blows these. I think it's for whatever. He's like Caleb Williams in the NFL. People want to have very dramatic opinions of Umberto Rispoli. I think he's a very good jockey. I think he's done a very good job. Can you criticize some of his rides? Yeah, but you can criticize anyone's rides. You can criticize Mike Smith's rides or Joe Talamo's rides or Johnny V's rides, or you could probably criticize some of Bill Shoemaker's rides.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, being a former rider, it's horse by horse, too. I feel like if you give, the 10th leading jockey a shot on a big horse, they could get it done, but they're not going to really get that opportunity sometimes. And that's why you see so many top riders year after year get top horses, just because they don't want to give an opportunity to someone else that could get it done.
Success begets success.
Yeah, like Caleb Williams. If you rip that bear shirt off him and put maybe a Colts shirt on, he might be a better player, Mike.
All right, you know what? On that note, we're going to take a break. All right, we're going to go to break off that. That was unnecessary. That was way unnecessary. When we return, things are going to get a little pretty around here, and we're going to have horses on the track. Look, it's almost renovated. We're almost there. Break's almost over, peeps.
is an attitude.
FanDuel held a shooting contest to promote its new MySpend tool. MySpend makes it easy to view your deposit and bet history all in one place. Because betting without knowing how much you're spending is like shooting in the dark. See the whole picture. Make FanDuel's MySpend tool part of your system and stop shooting in the dark.
Calling all trillionaires. Come and join a club that has rewards for everyone. I'm talking birthday perks, free daily game, and other stuff that's fun.
Designed for people who love thrills like me and her and him, and with the weekly bonus back, our thrills are filled up to the brim.
So we're calling all trillionaires. Trillionaires.
Calling all trillionaires. FanDuel Casino.
At Calumet Farm, we're proud to offer proven stallions to fit every breeder's needs. With over 72 million in progeny winnings on dirt and turf, our diverse roster is producing the champions of today and tomorrow. Calumet Farm, a legacy reborn.
2.5 hours to go, boy.
We're back here on Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup, and right behind me you have a Breeders' Cup Classic winner in Wide Barrio. We've talked about horses that have won Triple Crown races this year with Sovereignty and Journalism. How about a Breeders' Cup winner, but a Breeders' Cup Classic winner from a couple years ago in 2023. The Safi Joseph team got in late last night, roughly around 11 o'clock. So because the team got in so late, these horses aren't going to be doing a whole lot, especially Wide Barrio. It's just going to be a walk day and a rest day for him. You can see him here in the back of his stall. You know, when he started the year in 2025 winning the Grade 1 Pegasus, you would have certainly thought this was going to be a main force later on this year in the Breeders' Cup Classic. It just hasn't panned out that way for him. He won the World Cup, he wins the Ghost Sapper, and then he sort of just comes in with a 4th in the Met Mile, 4th in the Whitney, 5th in the Jockey Club. You know that the real White Barrio is better than that. So instead of being in the Breeders' Cup Classic this year, White Barrio is going to look for another Breeders' Cup win. However, it is going to be in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. His friend right below him, well, that is Brownie, and I have it on good authority, Mike, that Brownie rammed into his trainer in Safi Joseph the other day. So just a heads up to anybody that's going to be walking around and taking a look at the Safi Joseph horses, especially Wide Barrio, because Brownie's his homie. He goes with Wide Barrio here. If you're coming around the shed row, be careful when you run into Brownie here, guys.
That ain't his best friend. That's his bodyguard. That's his muscle right there. I see you. And from what I hear about Brownie, he's the GOAT.
Yeah. That's a good one, Mike.
Yeah.
That's a good one, Mike.
Thanks for the mercy laugh. How much longer is this show? Wow, I haven't seen Joe in 6 months. I'm already sick of him. At any rate, we will have more. Wide Barrio, though, in all seriousness, those are the type of horse that have a hard time handicapping because he's a horse that you know he's got that arrow in his quiver. Getting older, he doesn't always fire it, but when he does, it is a devastating move.
Hey, he's a horse, he'll win by 5 or 10, or he'll lose by 5 or 10.
Correct.
So you don't quite know who's going to show up that day. But to your point, when he does show up with his A game, he's definitely capable of winning a Breeders' Cup. He won the Classic 2 years ago.
I mean, the problem coming in for him is the last 3 he's lost by 5 or 6.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Although he does fire fresh, so he's been idle since August. Maybe Safi Joseph has kind of regrouped, and hopefully he'll fire his best shot.
Do you have to train horses like that differently, or is it all just you put them in the program and you see how they respond?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to take him as an individual. I mean, a horse like this, 6 years old, I mean, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, you know. It is what it is. So he knows the keys to him, what he's got to do.
I could learn new tricks. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's go check in with Andy Biancone.
Mike, you just never know who you're going to run into on the backside here on Del Mar Breeders' Cup. And right next to Lenny Lou is Breeders' Cup Sprint Contender Banishing. And this is a horse who I am a massive fan of. I mean, he's 2 for 2 going 3/4, but he's been successful running up to 1 mile and an 1/8. He's been routing in his last couple starts, but now cuts back in distance for David Jacobson. And what an incredible horse. in his last 12 starts has never been worse than first or second. Okay, one time he was 5th in, I think, maybe 5 runs back. But other than that, has always been first or second, and that's going several different distances. 3/4, a mile and an eighth. He's just a hard-knocking, cool champ of a horse. He walked this morning for quite some time, but he had great energy. Just a really fun, hard-knocking horse, and a horse I've fallen in love with over the winter and have really enjoyed watching campaign. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in the Breeders' Cup Sprint, and we'll keep an eye on to see what Banishing does throughout the week.
He's some double, right? Charlestown Classic to Breeders' Cup Sprint.
Yeah, common double. Yeah. Very common. He was actually on the track earlier today. We have footage of Banishing out going to the track as we take a look. He's a nice horse. The Sprint, we keep talking about how tough the Classic's going to be. The Sprint's going to be just as tough. It is a fantastically stacked race. Banishing is one of the reasons for it. He's fast. He has that win in the Charlestown Classic. I don't know if the distance hits him between the eyes, but the last time he went 6 furlongs, he won.
Yeah, so he's won in a mile and an eighth 2 races back, and then going 6.5 furlongs in a stake at Ellis Park. So he can sprint, he could go long. The problem for me, Simon, going from a mile and an eighth to 3/4, I just don't know how much speed that took out of him.
That's exactly right. I mean, there's turnbacks and then there's turnbacks like that. That's a big cutback in distance, especially in the, what arguably is probably the world's fastest race, right? The Breeders' Cup Sprint, you're turning back. So, I mean, key is where he's going to be positioned early in the race. He'll probably be sitting, 3, 4, 5 lengths off the leader best and come with a run.
And there's a look at him as David Jacobson trying to get this horse to pull off Simon's favorite double in the history of Breeders' Cup, the Charlestown Classic to the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
It'll be a first. No one's ever done that before.
Have we ever had a Breeders' Cup Classic winner come back to the dirt mile? I'm trying to rack my brain here, like Saudi, or like White Abarrio is.
I was thinking, I don't think that's ever been done before.
I think we've had the reverse. We've had Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile winners go on. Yeah, Knicks go. But that's wild. Right now, let's get back to Santa Anita with Michelle Yu.
All right, we're at Bob Baffert's barn. He's got 3 going right now: Imagination, Hope Road, and Ricci. Abdul Al-Sagor now working for Bob. Who are you going to ride today, Abdul?
Well, I'll be riding Ricci.
Richie? You're hoping to get that mount in the race? No.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right, don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. Don't talk to them. Bob says, JJ's over here. JJ, who are you going to be on?
Imagination.
Imagination? Yes. What Bob tell you? Anything secret?
No, not really. We just want to work easy 5/8. Just keep him happy.
JJ said, get on the horse, said Bob. All right, here's Imagination about to get the leg up here. So we'll follow this Baffert trio out. I guess there's no room on the golf cart for me, Bob? No room on the golf cart for me, but we'll walk up and watch these 3 going.
Wait, there's room for Mr. B, though. That's Bob Bedecker, our old colleague, our good friend. Mr. B, come back. Mr. B, come back. Do you want to sit in on the breakfast shows for a bit? Legendary broadcaster and handicapper here in Southern California, Mr. B. So great to see him. Back here at Del Mar, this is live look at Dry Powder, who's going in the dirt mile, coming out onto the racetrack as we speak.
For trainer Chad Summers, we saw him getting this horse ready earlier. A 3-year-old filly by Gunrunner. I mean, that's a tall task. 3-year-old filly taking on, the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. That's a big ask, but she's done nothing wrong. She's never been worse than 3rd in 6 starts, including a win. Including 2nd in the Cotillion last out.
Yeah, I mean, she's going to have to bring her absolute best. She ran a 91 Beyer, finishing 2nd last time out in the Cotillion. She's going to have to run upwards of at least 100, if not more, to be competitive in here.
I mean, you look at the horses entered in this race. It is tough. And I feel like as we delve into the Breeders' Cup, that theme of the Classic is popping up in multiple races where they're just stacked as much as we've seen in recent years. The Dirt Mile, no exception.
Yeah, and Simon alluded to it earlier. Post position is going to be absolute key in the dirt mile because the first turn comes up pretty quick here at Del Mar. If you get stuck 4 or 5 wide, I mean, that's pretty much a race.
We watch these races all summer here with fields of 8 and 9. You can have loaded fields here, 12, 14. So, I mean, you're adding 3, 4, 5 more horses into the field. And you get hung out wide, you have no option but to send and go into that first
She is cross-entered in the distaff. We just flipped to the dirt mile because it was the first one in our packet. But she has, you can see the distaff saddle towel.
My bad. Sorry.
On. I'm looking at her right now as she's just making a jog. Now, this is just a walk around the outside. Are they going to gallop her today? That's what we don't know. Gallop her, or is it just a little jog here?
I'm saying she's going to work out, because if you look at the exercise rider, the stirrups are up. They've got couple ace bandages on.
And I was going to say the bandages.
Yeah, I would say that the rider's got the irons.
Oh, Joaquin's told us she was working, so that's my fault for not listening. At any rate, here's a look at her. She's getting ready. Dry powder. Joaquin is, you join us. She was very good in the cotillion. She's cross-entered in the dirt mile, but the distaff being her first preference.
Yeah, Mike, that's right. The distaff is going to be the first preference here for Dry Powder, 3-year-old daughter by Gunrunner, who has 6 lifetime starts, 2 victories, 3 seconds, been in the exacta in 5 of those 6 efforts. And just for the plan here, guys, when I spoke to Chad Summers earlier this morning, she's going to work by herself. Emily Ellingwood is up for the work. The plan is, Mike, that she's just going to work a solo half mile and gallop out of 5/8.
So what are we going to look for that gallop out 5/8 solo drill? I mean, it's going to be a recurring theme. We're going to sound like a broken record where we keep saying, just looking for nothing to go wrong, just looking for everything to be. We don't want her to go too fast, don't want them to go too slow, just want everything to look great.
Yeah, today it's just you just want a really smooth work. Her last workout at Belmont on October 16th was a bullet minute and 3/5 best of 12 that day. So I feel like that was her kind of screw tightener. This one right here, Simon, just kind of cruise around there. You don't want to go too slow, but not too fast. Just kind of that nice, happy medium.
Yeah, I mean, she's a filly that's, pretty up-tempo. I would expect her to go 48, 49, and maybe gallop out in 102, 103. I mean, to put times into perspective for people that are not familiar with it, a half-mile workout, I would say the range is from 46 is really fast to 103 or 104 is really slow. So that's the range, okay? And then you start hitting somewhere in the middle, like 101, 102. That's just a maintenance work. A minute's a little quicker. And it's the same, at 5/8. A half mile, you want to, 48, 49, be right in the middle. So, I mean, there's a big range, and I know it doesn't sound a lot, a couple of seconds here and there, but the average, second equates to about 5 lengths in time. So 2 seconds, that's 10 lengths difference.
As, they've just made the turn, so they're probably going to break away on the backstretch here, and we'll keep an eye on Dry Powder. But I'm trying to find the distaff on my packet here. It's kind of convoluted here. But the Longines Breeders' Cup distaff, every year it's pretty stacked, but she faced Clicquot last time out in the cotillion, who really announced herself as a legit contender in here. But is she really the measuring stick when you have horses like Darth Vader in here? You have horses like Jin Jin. You have horses like Gunsong. I mean, it's Scylla, Nitrogen. I mean, you name it. It's just loaded with talent.
Yeah, even Nitrogen and 3-year-old filly. I mean, ever since switching to dirt in Alabama, just missed in a spinster, where she kind of shied out a little bit at the 8th pole. She might have won that day.
Let's get out to Santa Anita right now. Hope Road, coming off of that victory in the Ballerina, is out on the track stretching her legs. She was working with Imagination. Hope Road on the outside, Imagination on the inside. We saw them walk into the racetrack as they are going to break away right now and start this thing rolling. Hope Road, tons of talent out of that brilliant mare, Marley's Freedom. And as suspected with that pedigree, she's turned into quite a nice sprinter.
Yes, she has. Won the Ballerina by 2 lengths last time out at Saratoga. That was on August 23rd, and has had some really, really good workouts, too, ever since then.
Marley's Freedom, of course, her mother won the Breeders' Cup filly and mare sprint. And then you've got Imagination to the inside. He's, kind of an upset for Bob Baffert last time out in the Santa Anita Sprint Championship. He was the horse that kind of went past a tiring straight no chaser. So this is a pretty good workout here. These two heads up in company, and they'll probably just finish together here. You don't want to have one of these pulling away from the other one. These are 2 legit contenders.
And both of them, their last work, Hope Road win a bullet 112, and Imagination 111 and 3. So this is another one, to Simon's point. You just want to kind of cruise in a nice fashion. Don't try and overdo anyone.
A lot of times when they work in company and they draw away, you're using a stablemate, I wouldn't say as a sacrificial lamb, but you know, some owners like Godolphin early had a horse, Sovereignty, working with Chillax. That was owned by Godolphin. They used that as a workhorse. Situation like this, you've got two legitimate contenders. You're not going to have one beat the other one in a workout. You're just going to have them finish together.
And it's more to keep them honest,
yes,
too. Just
exactly.
back and forth. No one try to win.
So here's Super Corridora, the horse for John Sadler, West Point Thoroughbreds, a filly who just broke her maiden, but she did so emphatically. She stretched out to 2 turns for the first time, and then she blew him away by 8 lengths. And that was when they said, you know what? We might take this one to the juvenile fillies.
Yeah, I'm just watching her here. This is, she gets over the ground pretty good here. First time I've kind of seen her working here in person and or getting her over the racetrack, and she's a pretty mover.
She's got a great pedigree, too, as she's by gun runner out of the Super Saver mare Super Simple. Sadler's done a good job. She's progressed with each and every start. She didn't win going 5 or 6.5, but I think 2 turns is always what she wanted to do.
Yeah, and that's what I was there when she won by 8. Sadler was interviewed on our airwaves afterwards, and he said, you know, these gun runners, all they do is get better as they go longer. He was waiting for a 2-turn race. She responded, 2 sprints stretched out, and the way she's built, look at her. She looks physically like she's a filly who wants a distance of ground.
I was going to say visually, she looks like 2 turns is going to be right up her alley. You can see her ears kind of pricking up, just nice and happy. Nothing too crazy on the gallop out. Again, only 7 days out from her race, so you don't want to do too much.
So Super Corridora for John Sadler, working right now live at Santa Anita. Once again, thanks to our friends at First Racing for bringing us all those works with their camera crew out there at Santa Anita. Right now, let's check in with Michelle Yu again at Santa Anita.
Thanks, Chili. Mike, I'm walking with Chili. Come on, Chili. Back with Imagination right now. JJ, you said you're going to go nice and easy. How did it feel out there?
Feels really good. It feels really good. Well, he was a little aggressive this morning. I think he's feeling great for his race, and I think that's what Buff too. So you know, he's happy, I'm happy, and the horse is really happy, and yeah, we go from there.
All right, I'm happy too, guys.
You know what we need to invest in for Michelle is one of those sticks that they put the microphone on. You see Ollie Bell use them when he's at Ascot, because I mean she's all 5'3", so I mean that's going to get harder as the horses get taller.
And the times we got the times just sent to us, 57 and 4 for those two.
I mean, and did not look like they were trying that hard.
Yeah, it didn't. But still, that is going to take a little bit out, especially 7 days out, and it looked like they went on out down the backside. But to your point, Mike, I mean, they were cruising along.
They were on the bridle. They were doing it, and that's the idea of putting 2 horses together to get them to do it, but not under duress because they're on the bridle. And I mentioned that time frame, like the times fast for 5/8 would be 57, to 104. Baffert's always going to err on the faster side. That's just the way he works his horses.
Okay, we've got another Baffert horse out on the track, Richie, who is going in the filly and mare sprint. And let's take a look. Working solo here, Simon.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, he decided to work this horse solo. She's been an interesting filly here, Richie. She came in from South America for Hillendale and John Secure, and she's never run a bad race. I mean, she's 8 for 16 lifetime. She's had about 8 starts here in the U.S., and she's won a couple of them. So I like her maybe coming back to 1 turn here. I think that's quite interesting.
Yeah, she was second last time out in the Zenyatta, going a mile and a 16th. Her last 2 races were going a mile and a 16th. So I agree. I think the cutback is going to be perfect. She had a big work on October 17th, 7/8 and 126 and 1. So she's definitely getting primed.
I mean, her last 2 defeats, Mike. The problem is she's been beaten by a stablemate. I mean, it's Cavalieri, who's unfortunately sidelines for a little bit, and Seismic Beauty, who's going to be one of the top 2 betting choices in the distaff. So, Bob's got to split those 2 up. He comes here to the 1 turn with Rishi.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what she can do, but she certainly is long on talent. I think she might actually be better as a sprinter, to be honest with you. But all these things will be revealed to us in 1 week's time. So, trio of Baffert runners out there. I still wish we would have got Mr. B on camera. I mean, he was on camera. He photobombed us by a famous Southern California handicapper. We've the Bedecker card been around for years and years. At any rate, we are going to continue looking at some of these runners. They have finished the renovation break here. We have a couple of horses that have already worked here at Santa Anita. We're going to take a closer look at that dry powder workout. Is this horse in the distaff now breaking away? We saw her getting ready for Chad Summers, and just nicely in gear here. Hits a nice cruising speed. I'd say she's in 3rd, just kind of piloting around there.
Yeah, she looks really happy to me, Simon. Broke off in good order. You could say the biggest body language with horses is their ears. You could see she's kind of flipping them forward and back, so that means she's not going too quick. If her ears were pinned all the way back, you know they're just all out blitzing. But you could see she just put them up there, just cruising right along in a really good manner.
Yeah. So we heard she's only going a half-mile work here, and you can see just asking her to keep up to a task here, not aggressively. The rider just, you know, just asking her and smooching to her to finish here, and she switches leads perfectly there, gets over the ground well. I'm sure they're happy with this.
And this is exactly what you want, because her last work was a bullet minute and 3/5, so I feel like that was kind of the screw tightener. This right here, you just want to be really nice and happy a week out.
So there's a look at Dry Powder, appointed for the distaff for trainer Chad Summers, making its way out here from New York. Summer Stable they had a very nice 2-year-old that they're not going to send to the Breeders' Cup, but now they do make an appearance with Dry Powder. Of course, Chad Summers made his name with Mind Your Biscuits, a fantastic runner that he had and took all over the world from here to Dubai.
Yeah, I mean, he's a small stable, but he's had some success. There's a pretty big gallop out here, they're asking.
I was going to say, that is a pretty good gallop out there. Going to be interesting what the times were. But you could still see she does seem pretty happy.
So Dry Powder, we'll have more on this work when we get the official times here. Let's go to the NetJet Juveniles Fillies. We have a pair of runners working together. La Vie Lumiere, I believe, on the outside, and then Meaning on the inside.
Both for Michael McCarthy, La Vie Lumiere. I mean, she started a career early. She was one of those that ran in one of those 4.5 furlong races at Santa Anita, and she came back and she was third in the Oak Leaf. Meaning, just coming off a maiden special weight win at Los Al. She's by Gunrunner. We just saw the Sadler Gunrunner improve with distance, and I think Meaning will really appreciate the stretch out here.
Yeah, La Vie Lumiere on the inside. She's pretty good.
Outside.
On the outside, excuse me. She's pretty good as well. Like you said, she's just got the maiden victory under her belt, but she had a good showing against Explorer & Company in the Oak Leaf. And that was her first try going 2 turns on the dirt. Now they're going back to the turf.
Yeah, that was nice. She was fifth in the juvenile turf at Del Mar on the turf, and then went in the grade 2 Oak Leaf on dirt and ran a really good third there. And you could see they are being excellent along pretty good there. Going to be interesting what the gallop out is.
Yeah, that's one of the most, I wouldn't say aggressive finishes, but the most we've seen a horse being asked already in this morning here on the work show.
Yeah, you could see not too much of a gallop out there. La Vie Lumiere is on the outside, kind of pulling up a little bit slower, meaning looks like she's getting a little bit better of a gallop out.
So there's a look at Meaning and La Vie Lumiere, both entered for the Juvenile Fillies. Of course, La Vie Lumiere cross-entered in the Juvenile Fillies turf. Right now, let's go back to Michelle Yu, who's standing by with a Hall of Famer.
My favorite part about being out in the morning is running into Hall of Famers. I'm with Kent DeSormo. Give me a favorite Breeders' Cup memory.
Oh, that'd probably have to be Kodashan. His nemesis was Bien Bien, and I can recollect every jump of the race, especially Chris McCarron looking back at me under his legs. He was in front of me. He looked at me and says, "Where's Smo?" Because I know he's going to be coming. And as soon as he put his head forward, I went. And I got maybe a head in front of him, caught that momentum jump on him, and that was my Breeders' Cup moment, getting a jump with Kodashan on Bien Bien and McCarron.
That was the first year I got into horse racing, actually, believe it or not. Do I make you feel old now?
No. I already feel old.
You are ageless, Kent DeSormo. Appreciate the time.
Thank you. Happy Breeders' Cup.
He's one of the best to ever straddle a horse. At his best, he was the best. And he's still riding, and you still see those flashes of brilliance that only Kent can bring you.
My fellow Cajun compadre, yeah, Kent DeSormo, on his best day, I mean, he could hang with the best. Son.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. Very, very talented.
He rode with a little bit of magic, too. There was just something about that DeSormo ride. At any rate, let's check in with Andy Biancone.
Mike, several horses from the Japanese contingent are heading to the track as we speak. I do see Forever Young behind me walking around in the little quarantine toe ring. You can't miss him at all with his red and white polos, but he should be coming out shortly. We will follow him to the track when he exits the quarantine ring.
Well, that's great. I need a new jacket, so I'm happy they're here. At any rate, we will continue to take a look at the international runners. The Japanese horses, are we forgetting a little bit about Forever Young here because this classic is so loaded, Simon?
Yes, and because he's been a kind of off our radar for the last 6 months, right? He took all the summer off, as most top Japanese horses do. Gets very hot and muggy in Tokyo, so the good horses kind of just take a little bit of a break. He came back with a blowout win, and he was supposed to. I mean, he was odds-on favorite. It was a perfect prep race. But, I mean, he fits. We know he handles the conditions here. He's flown to the U.S. multiple times. He's run well here, and, I mean, he's right there, especially on the form of last year with Sierra Leone.
I mean, this horse is 9 for 12. And 3 third-place finishes in some of the biggest races in the world. They won the Saudi Cup by a neck. The Dubai World Cup only got beat 2 lengths, finishing 3rd. And then don't forget the Kentucky Derby was only 3rd ahead to Mystic Dan in Sierra Leone that year.
Yeah, he ran brilliantly that day. Let's check in once again with Michelle Yu.
John Sadler sent out a pair of Breeders' Cup workers today. Tell me what your thoughts were. I didn't get to see them because one was in the dark and then one I was running back with another horse.
We just finished on the second break, and Super Corridor worked fabulous today. We had her like 47-2 with Barrios up, who's going to ride her next week. She's very impressive. And then earlier on the first break, we worked Hey Nene with Indispensable. Indispensable was a little bit better over him, but we got the work in we wanted. He went in a minute. Indispensable's a 4-year-old. So 2 good works so far. We worked a bunch of horses on the undercard, so we're coming right along.
And you got full Serrano to go tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
I've got inside information.
Yeah, 6:30 in the morning tomorrow.
No, I keep pushing to try to get this after 7 o'clock, so we're going to have to watch it on tape, right?
Well, we breezed him on that first break last year. We're going to do the same thing this year.
All right, looking forward to watching him tomorrow, and thanks for the time today.
My pleasure.
And you guys know John's assistant, Juan Leyva, over there. Hi, Juan. He won a Breeders' Cup himself, by the way. Tomorrow, Juan, you're going to tell me all about that story.
Are you sure that's Juan? I don't recognize him without the fedora.
Yeah. I love how trainers keep to their routines, though. We worked him in the first break last year, so we're doing it this year.
Right.
You know, that's
I love how superstitious.
That's a trainer's mentality through and through right there.
What race I'm forgetting what Breeders' Cup race Juan Leyva won.
I think the Philly Mare Sprint, maybe?
I don't know.
I forgot the name.
Look, he is. John Sadler's obviously treats his assistants very well because they stick around for a long, long time, and Juan Leyva is doing a great job. But I've been feeling like he's that close to busting out on his own and running a major stable because he is as good of an assistant as there is in the game.
I'd stay locked in where I am right now.
Really good.
True. Yeah. I mean, he's getting his hands on
Jimmy Barnes.
Yeah.
All the good trainers have the assistants stay for a long time. Umberto with the late Frankel, Jimmy Barnes with Bob Baffert.
What's good about Juan, too, he gets on a lot of those horses, too. I mean, if you think of Flightline, he was the only one to breeze that horse. He knew him better than anyone, and that's such a big advantage as an assistant trainer because you know whether they're doing really good or really bad, and you're not afraid to relate that to them.
Exactly. Good point.
Another 3-year-old who's been sensationally talented, I don't want to say bad luck, maybe he was just born in the wrong year, is Baeza. He's been so good all year long, and he's still running at the highest level despite the bigger names in his division. And right now, Michelle, he's walking out of the track with Baeza.
Oh, guys, I was just passing through the John Sheriff's barn and made my way over to the stall that says Baeza. Hopefully it's him. No, I'm just kidding. It really is. And he's looking tremendous. He's actually been working sensationally here at Santa Anita. I believe he's going to work tomorrow, but we're still waiting on official confirmation from trainer John Sheriffs about what his work is going to be and then, of course, his ship date. But he could not look any better. He looks like over $1 million, if you catch my drift. Also, I just love this little attention to detail. Take a look at their little boards out in front of them. Not only do they have their, names and whatnot, but every morning when they get their temperature taken, John writes it down on there. So the whole barn not only gets physically checked and looked at visually as far as, jogging and soundness, but they're also getting their temps checked every morning just to make sure everyone is super duper healthy. So here's a nice look at Baeza, and hopefully we'll catch him working tomorrow.
You can legitimately make the argument that he is the third best horse of this crop. The only horses to beat him since he broke his maiden are Journalism and Sovereignty.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't need handicap ratings for this 3-year-old crop. It's easy. Sovereignty, Journalism, Baez. Every time they run against each other, it's that order. And to your point, Mike, he just came around in the wrong year to come up against Journalism and Sovereignty. But he's improving at the right time. He's pretty much raced every single month dating back to December of last year, which shows his soundness and his well-being. So I think John Sadler, you know, someone who's a little more patient, takes his time. The fact this horse has kind of bounced along month after month, I think he's improving. I think he might, if there's a chance of him turning the tables on one of those two, I think it comes on Saturday.
And his only bad race is the first race he ever ran. It was here at Del Mar, a mile on the turf. Besides that, once he got to dirt, I mean, he's literally improved just about every start. And how about his breeding? That damn Puka, he's a half to Dortmund and Mage. I mean, or I'm sorry. I mean, you couldn't be bred any better.
I was like, whoa, why are you saying such bad things about Puka? Damn Puka. Oh, damn, Puka. Gotcha. At any rate, let's take a look at a horse that we really haven't seen much of for Nacho Correas. It's Sarawak Rim. Horse has been based in Argentina throughout her entire career. She's 4 for 5 in South America. Now she's going to try the Breeders' Cup. She's only lost once, and all of her wins have been impressive, to say the least. As we get our first look of her here stateside, see her right there as they're getting ready for a gallop.
Well, yeah, I mean, this would be a remarkable send-off. There's kind of a sub-story here for Ignacio Correas. He's retiring at the end of this year, probably after the Breeders' Cup. And, I mean, it's a horse he's never run here in the States, and he's taken a shot in the Breeders' Cup distaff. So he's had a great career, good trainer, and he calls it out as it is. I've known him a little bit. He used to be out here in Southern California with the late Bill Curran, and he's made a name for himself, especially with some of these Southern Hemisphere imports. This would be a remarkable achievement for him if he could go out with a win here in the Breeders' Cup distaff.
Yeah, and the last time she won, it was a Grade 1 in Argentina back in May of this year. So you can see her. She looks really happy out there, too. Flipping her ears back and forth, not doing too much. Just going to go out there for a nice little jog.
As a look at Sarawak Rim. Nacho Correas, he's done wonderful things in this game, and he is a fantastic conditioner, and he gets a lot of horses from South America, and he knows which ones fit the program. We're going to take a look at Sarawak Rim's last work. This was just 3 days ago at Keeneland, and boy, was she out there moving.
Yeah, this is 114-2, and visually it looks quicker than that. It looks like she's clicking along pretty good, but well in hand.
You see, the things I'm looking for here for a horse that's never been in the United States before is how's she handling the track, how's she handling the surroundings. Obviously, she's been here quite a while. She last raced in May, so she's had plenty of works. But, yeah, I mean, it's just a big ask. You have no idea. It's a guessing game as to what she's going to do on Saturday. I mean, you just have no clue, really.
But here, let's talk about sequential wagers for a second. Is this a horse that you're going to feel comfortable leaving off your ticket? Or is this a horse that you just got to protect and use because she's going to be a price, and it's Nacho?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you have to use, right, just as an insurance case. It's hard to tell what competition she's been beating.
Well, what does she look like right here?
She looks fine. I mean, she doesn't not look out of place. I mean, she's a nice filly, and this is 3/4 in 114. I mean, a solid work on her own with an exercise rider aboard. I wouldn't knock her here.
And I would say, to Simon's point, that would be my only concern. Even though she did win a Grade 1 last time out, you truly don't know who she was running against in Argentina. But her record speaks for herself. 4 for 5 with 1 second-place finish.
As we get a look at that work back on the 21st, so obviously today it's just going to be a jog or a gallop or something like that, just a maintenance kind of hit the track, stretch the legs sort of move.
Yes, especially she just worked 3 days ago, and then the race is 7 days from now, so not going to do too much today, especially just getting here.
As this was back at Keeneland, it looked like a warmer day that day as she was stretching her legs over the track. Once again, this work officially 6 furlongs in 114-2 gave her a breezing designation. Let's check in with Joaquin Jaime.
Well, Kazushi Kimura had a busy morning with a couple 2-year-olds for trainer Mike McCarthy. It started earlier with Stark Contrast, who's undefeated on the grass. He's a perfect 2 for 2. Take me back earlier this morning. What sort of work did Stark Contrast do?
I mean, early morning, which was 5:30, and just by myself. He's kind of like a ear flipping over and just a little bit lazy. I just wanted a little bit more strong one, but you know, he's a nice horse, obviously getting better each race. So yeah, we'll see what's gonna happen for the Breeders' Cup.
As I mentioned, he's undefeated on the grass. He's 2 for 2. In morning workouts, how does stark contrast travel on the dirt for you?
I mean, you know, obviously, you know, just 2 years old, would be better to having company. With him, he have a little lazy mind sometimes, but, you know, he's a nice racehorse.
2-year-old fillies, La Ville Lumiere, who you were aboard, worked in company with Meaning. What were you trying to accomplish with that team workout aboard La Ville Lumiere?
I mean, La Ville is getting better and better, especially the last month and this month. I can tell she's obviously improved. So I'm really excited what she can do.
She comes off a 3rd place finish in the Oakleaf Stakes, but she's won on the turf. Does she travel better on one surface or the other when you are aboard her?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, you know, I feel like she can run both. But like I say, just she's, you know, each race she's getting improved and just feeling like getting better and better. So.
Your morning started early. Are you done for the day? What do you have any other workers?
No, I finished and just going head back to Santa Anita for the racing.
All right, we'll let you get back up the I-5. Kazushi, thanks for the time. Have a good morning.
Thank you.
Kazushi, I hope you drove because the train is not running today. Trust me, I checked it. The Surfliner, they got to repair the tracks somewhere near San Clemente or something like that.
No,
So
this guy's a car nut. He's driving everywhere. Toyota Supra. If you follow him on, he's a great follow on Instagram.
Yeah.
If he's not biking 85 miles on his day off up the San Gabriel Mountains, he's waxing up his Toyota Supra.
He bikes 85 miles?
Oh, yeah. It's insane.
My gosh.
No, it's nuts.
No, it's nuts.
By the way, 2 jockeys in this colony drive Supras, him and Edwin. The Supra is back. They're not a sponsor. I don't know why we're giving shout-outs to Toyota Supra. At any rate, Kazushi Kimura, he's really made a name for himself here in Southern California after winning the Eclipse Award for Outstanding Apprentice a year ago, riding primarily during the summer months at Woodbine, but then coming here to Southern California. He is a very talented and a very hard-working rider. I think the thing that trainers and owners like is that he is riding the hair off of every horse. It doesn't matter if he's riding for 1st or 5th, if he's riding a grade 1 or a 10-claimer.
Yeah, I love watching that with Kazushi. And to your point, it doesn't matter what he's on. He's going to ride them so hard to the wire. And that makes a big difference for owners and trainers that want to use you moving forward.
Some of the international horses, the Japanese contingent once again has made their way to Del Mar, and there's a couple of them out on the track. We've got Switch and Love in the Juvenile Philly Turf.
Juvenile Turf Sprint.
Oh, I'm sorry, Juvenile Turf Sprint. I'm getting the names confused. It's day 1. Day 1 to 7. It's actually in both races, so I wasn't wrong. I was just wrong-ish.
Half right.
And then that's Puro Magic in front, as he's a turf sprinter and a sprinter. So we'll see which one he enters in, as he's crossed in both.
Yeah, you can see the evolution of the Japanese runners. The more success they have, the more runners they bring. And now they're venturing into the sprint races, which they never used to do as much. So big contingent coming this year.
Well, I think you and I have seen it too, Simon, because we've covered the international racing in Dubai. We've been to these international festivals. It used to be the Japanese would always come with 1 or 2 good horses. Last year, I felt like they showed up everywhere with a dozen. They were in Dubai with 12 horses, in Saudi with 10. They were in, you know, and they came to the Breeders' Cup. And there was a whole barn full of them, and they're winning these races not just with that one horse who's great. They're winning these races sometimes with their 2nd and 3rd best horses in that division. Just the breadth of their talent has gotten so large.
Yeah, because arguably, look, 99% of horse racing around the world takes place on a turf course, right? There's only 2 major dirt jurisdictions. The U.S. dominates. I would say the second most is Japan, right? Dirt racing. They've been, with so much influence of North American dirt pedigrees, now they've become successful globally on dirt races. Forever Young, you saw the Breeders' Cup Distaff winner a few years ago. You've seen Dubai World Cup winners. So I would say they're the second best dirt racing jurisdiction in the world.
I've heard a number of people say that the best racehorses in the world reside in Japan. A number of people have made that assessment. I think that's I think they deserve to be in the conversation for sure. Whether or not you want to put them ahead of, you know, some of the other countries that really come in, you know, with loaded decks to the Breeders' Cup, that's another thing.
And just look at Forever Young. I mean, to come in to ship in for the Kentucky Derby, just get beat a neck, and all the shipping around the world that he's done, that's not an easy thing to do. I know we see horses from America, when they say go to Dubai or Saudi, it takes them 4, 5, 6 months to kind of chill, get back to their routine. He didn't need that whatsoever. I mean, he kind of got right back into his fluidity.
All right, we have, we're not even at the halfway point. We're just now getting close to the halfway point of the first breakfast at the Breeders' Cup show. The breakfast is going to get really good because in a couple days we're going to open up that marquee, and then we're going to have like caviar and scrambled eggs and all that. Right now, though, shout out to Tati for bringing me the coffee. Got a little espresso. She feels pretty. She has been outstanding, and we're going to take a closer look at her and trainer Cherie DeVoe when we return.
FanDuel held a shooting contest to promote its new MySpend tool. MySpend makes it easy to view your deposit and bet history all in one place. Because betting without knowing how much you're spending is like shooting in the dark. See the whole picture. Make FanDuel's MySpend tool part of your system and stop shooting in the dark.
Monaco's too good for Moose, an impressive winner of the best pal. Miramondi's all hot, but Prince of Monaco too good.
Prince of Monaco, standing at Claiborne Farm.
We gear up for the Grade 1 EP Taylor. This Grade 1 event is a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup filly and mare turf.
Lots of pageantry, lots of history happening right now at Woodbine.
She Feels Pretty is on paper one of the best horses, 7 for 11 and 1 for 1 at Woodbine.
And Cherie DeVoe here today to saddle her 4-year-old filly. And I think She Feels Pretty deserves to be favored. She'll go off favored.
Yeah, and looking at the buyer speed figures, of course, She Feels Pretty has got those amazing low 100s.
Caitlin, her greatness, lobbing along. Length and a half away in second, about 2 to She Feels Pretty, switching the tail a bit.
It definitely is concerning. I think, when you watch a filly who's straightforward, she starts switching her tail, and she had gotten stepped on. So just a little bit moments of unease where you just want to make sure she's okay.
As they turn for home and races up.
Then coming down the stretch, she seemed to have gotten lost, but, just kind of... She's never put in a bad race for us. She makes it easy on us, and we just point her to the races and she shows up every time, so you really can't fault that in her.
Final furlong and a half. She Feels Pretty is out in front by 2 lengths. Diamond Rain, the only threat. They're well ahead, and She Feels Pretty is not stopping. Out by 2 lengths. Diamond Rain is coming on and wandering about. She Feels Pretty. Diamond Rain coming on the outside as they hit the wire. She Feels Pretty narrowly from Diamond Rain. A photo for the win, and the time is 2 minutes and 81 hundredths.
I'm a huge fan of Cherie DeVoe. I think she's a tremendous trainer, and she went in a short amount of time from taking out her trainer's license to training at the highest level in this game.
And She Feels Pretty, a measure of that. A 5-time Grade 1 winner. She looks sensational coming into the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah, I mean, she's never been off the board. She has 8 wins from 12 career starts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds against some of the best company.
As we see, She Feels Pretty, a special horse, but especially a special horse for her trainer, Cherie DeVoe.
Every horse we treat differently. She sometimes just needs a little bit more time to warm up, so she gets out and walks the shed row for 10-15 minutes before she heads out, just to loosen her muscles and make sure she's good. If we breeze her by herself, she works way too fast. So the objective with putting her in company is just to maintain her speed a little bit slower to keep the time to what we're looking for. Okay. Okay. Jog her back. Everybody has a radio? Okay, you're going outside with Carlos. Stay right with them, okay? Oh, you a little spicy today? You know, even she feels pretty coming off a layoff. She's been in training the whole time, so the objective is not do too much. We're trying to keep them all reined in, happy. Luckily, my car got cleaned. I grew up in the standardbred industry, and I always had horses in my life. I used to participate in rodeos and things of that nature. Then I decided that it'd be a great idea to learn how to gallop, and I did for a couple months on the track before I broke my leg really badly, and that career was obviously going to be short-lived, and became an assistant trainer. I had worked for Chad for, it was like a month shy of 8 years, and I had met David, and we were dating and talking about life, and I wasn't sure if this is what I wanted to do. It's just the stress of it all. I love the horses. I love working with the employees. It's just the stress I put on myself I knew was going to be difficult. And he was the one that basically sat me down and talked me into it and just said that I'd be doing a disservice to myself if I didn't at least try. You know, the first couple of years were difficult. It doesn't matter how accomplished you are in whatever job, you're starting back at zero. I think the most important thing that most trainers don't do is we have to be able to shut off. So I work out still. I did competitive bodybuilding. It's a fine line that became my identity. So now I've just been trying to figure out where the happy medium is, where I can enjoy working out and not put so much pressure on myself. All right. We're not just breezing the Breeders' Cup horses, we're breezing 5 horses in total, and each horse needs to be assessed each work. So, you know, you're looking at the time, you're watching other horses do it. I'll take a peek with the ones that pulled up, make sure they're jogging back okay. Amos, why don't your team go now? If you're standing good, go ahead. It's the ultimate multitasking and computing information as fast as you can. Okay, you guys can go. At this point, we're not really putting any fitness in them. They've been running all year. They're all fit and ready to run, so just trying to keep them happy and keep them in shape, but not really pushing on them too much. So these are what we call maintenance works. 37 and 1. Let them finish together, finish together. 48 and 4, let them gallop out. Amos, you can go ahead. 13 and 4. Okay, ease them down. All right. I'm pleased with that. I'm very pleased. Just let her gallop out. He's fine. It's just she's got so much more, and I want her to do a little something.
Nice that she did that.
Hey, Rudolph, how are you? She feels pretty and rebel red.
I recognize the filly. How
Yeah.
she look good?
Really good. We wanted to come in with a little bit of a freshening into the Breeders' Cup. She runs well fresh. She's never put in a bad race, ever in her life, from 5.5 up until a 1.25 miles. You know, she fights.
She Feels Pretty is looking good.
And She Feels Pretty's not stopping.
She Feels Pretty just in front.
The New York handicap is one that really does stick in my mind because she really wasn't loving the going, and yet she still hard fought to get there, and she had every excuse to take it easy on herself, but I don't think it's in her to just be that type of horse. We're looking at how they're breathing, how they're cooling out, making sure they're walking sound, making sure they don't have any little nicks or anything on them that we can see. Again, we're just trying to compute all the information at once. You'll see she feels pretty. She just doesn't look like she did more than a routine gallop out there.
I am an unabashed fan of Cherie DeVaux. I think she's one of the best trainers in the game. I think it's a talent, and I think she just has it. I mean, we've talked about this before, Simon. You either got it or you don't, and she's got it, and she's got it in spades. And, yeah, she does get great horses, and David Ngordo is a fantastic bloodstock agent, but she does a magnificent job.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to have the horses, but then when you got to get the horse, you got to do the right things by them, right, to get the success. So, you know, she's done a tremendous job, and it wasn't always easy. You said in the package there, the first 2 years, it's pretty slow for her, and she's kind of improved, and it's snowballed.
Let's take a look at She Feels Pretty. This is earlier today when she made her way out onto the racetrack, as this is that's her on the. Is that her on the outside? Excuse me. That's She Feels Pretty on the outside.
Yeah, they're going in company here, and you can see if you look at her works, you know, this fall. She's a filly that works really fast on the dirt. I mean, she's worked 47, 46 and change. I mean, she can zing around there if you really wanted to. So she gets over the dirt just as well as she gets over the grass, and you know, they're just kind of what we saw with the two Baffert runners. I would imagine they're just going to, if the stablemate can keep up with it, just finish heads up here.
Yeah, just cruise right along. And to your point, Simon, 3 works back. She went a bullet 46-3. That was best of 83 that day at Keeneland. But same thing, we're only a week out. You don't want to do too much, but do just enough to keep her happy and have something in the tank.
Half a mile and 48-2, the official clocking for She Feels Pretty in preparation for the filly and mare.
Yeah, they'll be absolutely delighted with that. And you know, she's probably radioing the exercise riders you saw in the piece there, telling them what to do to finish heads up, go in 48. She gives them the cues, the times throughout the workout.
Yeah, and you could see it there on the gallop out. Has her ear straight up, just cruising right along. And she kind of runs like that, too, I feel like. She's always in hand with Johnny B.
And after this work, our very own Scott Hazelton caught up with Cherie DeVaux.
Well, She Feels Pretty getting ready for the Breeders' Cup out west, and this has been a wonderful filly for you, Cherie. We saw her work last week. She looked impressive. How was she this morning for you?
Same. You know, they started off actually quite slow, just 25-4 the first quarter, and came home full of run. Same good energy as she showed last week with a really nice gallop out. You know, she's just such a treat to train, and really special, because fillies like her don't come around too often. So, you know, we just enjoy this when we can.
Was that by design to have them start off slow and really pick things up?
Yes, we were looking for an easier work. And so sometimes the riders, they do that by starting off a little easier, and then, you know, we have the walkie-talkie, so it helps guide them on how to finish. And, you know, both horses finished really well. She's just quite impressive.
Can't wait to see her out west. Good luck, Cherie.
Thank you.
And it's also a reminder that the reason these trainers wake up at 3 a.m., 7 days a week, 365 days a year, it's not so they can avoid having a 9-to-5. They do it because they love these animals. And you can just see the admiration she has for She Feels Pretty. And if you don't have that love of the horse, you're not going to make it long in this business.
Yeah, and I feel like, and Simon, you could allude to this, it's a lifestyle for them. A lot of these trainers, they don't play golf, they don't fish, they don't hunt. The racetrack and training these horses, that is it. And you could see that in that package with Cherie, not only her, but so many other ones. And I truly think you need that to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, all the top trainers, when you look at them, they don't have hobbies, right? This is the hobby. Oh, this is the,
right.
It's a lifestyle. Like you say, you know, when I worked for Bill Maher, he was never phoning in orders on the 18th hole. It just doesn't happen. You know?
Right.
And it's the same with all the top trainers. And any top, you know, coach or athlete in any sport. You know, I can't imagine Bill Belichick's, wow. That's a whole different story.
Yeah, let's not get into his extracurricular activities, Simon. It's a family show.
He's got some new hobbies.
We're going to stay in between the lines, Simon. In between the lines. Let's take a look at another Cherie DeVoe trainee. This is Vava working. Vava will be on the outside as we take a look, and this was obviously also at Keeneland this morning under the cover of darkness, but enough light to see, and the exact same time as She Feels Pretty. She worked in 48-2.
Yeah, no, this is just what Cherie DeVoe was, right? Is, you know, an easy workout, 48, as I mentioned. That time frame for half-mile workouts, 46 is fast, 103 is slow, 48, 49 right in the middle. And you're going to see a carbon copy of what she does with most of her workouts here in company, and just get them finished together and finish up. You want them going faster the last part than the first part.
Finishing up here, once again, Vava will be going in the filly and mare sprint. She's been another one that has been very good. She's made over $2 million throughout her career. This year, though, a little light on the wins, only 1 for 4 in 2025, but she's been very close.
Yeah, she's coming off a second-place effort in the TCA at Keeneland. She was the beaten favorite. She did run in the Breeders' Cup filly and mare sprint last year, was 8th, beaten 7.5, so she's definitely going to have to bring her best this year, but if anyone can do it, Cherie DeVoe is definitely primed to get her there.
As we take a look at the gallop out here, Vava. She's coming off runner-up finishes in the TCA in the pink ribbon. Her last one came in the Chicago handicap at Churchill this past June. She was 8th in the filly and mare sprint last year.
Yeah, and she was bet that day too. She was 3-1 in a 9-horse field. Just just didn't really show up that day, finishing 8th. But she's definitely going to have to bring her best.
Right now, let's get back to Scott Hazelton.
Cherie Vava putting in her final workout here at Keeneland before heading out west. How did she go?
She worked really well. Right now we're just maintenance, doing a lot of maintenance works. But she looked great. She had a really nice gallop out, ton of horse. So, really happy with how she put in her last work here.
Who did she work in company with?
She worked with Atropa, who is a recent maiden winner here. She's a 2-year-old, but she won by 10 lengths a couple weeks ago. So, they just stayed right together.
What'd you catch her in?
48 and change with a nice gallop out.
Good luck with Vava out west.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. You can see it's starting to lighten up here as the sun is starting to rise. We're at the halfway point of our breakfast shows today, but we've already seen a lot of the main contenders in some of these Breeders' Cup races so far.
Yeah, we have. And again, we're only a week out, so nothing crazy. You want to see nothing too fast, nothing too slow. Just try and keep them really happy going into next weekend.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of action tomorrow. Sunday and probably into Monday. Then things will pare back as far as the exercise. You'll see some gate schooling, I would imagine, next week. And then the Europeans kind of, invade here in the middle of next week as well.
And then we'll get tea, crumpets, bacon, sausage, all that good stuff. When is the actual breakfast marquee?
Monday.
Right, we'll get on that. Right now, let's check in with Andy.
We'll have to stop by the Safi Joseph barn, and right now, Be Your Best, just chilling and enjoying her morning, but super sweet filly, and Safi has certainly done incredible work with her. She won the Grade 1 Gamely back in May. The last time I saw her was in the Beverly D, to which she finished a really valiant third and finished another third in the Flower Bowl, but has had a little bit of a freshening. Was training up at Palmettos throughout the summer, and she shipped in last night in good order. She was actually on the same van as Lenny Lou, and everybody made it up from Florida in perfect condition. But Be Your Best, very energetic this morning, and she is a real sweetheart.
All right, thank you very much, Andy. We will see more horses on the racetrack. Forever Young going to be stretching his legs out on the main track here. I need to do some soul searching before I wager on the Classic, because if Forever Young wins and I don't have a couple of bucks on him, I'm going to be very upset, because I've been a huge fan of this horse throughout. Yeah, I mean, he really hasn't run a bad race. 9 wins from 12 career starts and 3 third-place finishes. There's a look at him. And he gets a little feisty. I don't blame him. It's a long flight. You got to work out some of that energy, some of the kinks. Ooh. Hopefully they flew him business class. He's important enough. He needs a recliner. That looks like you have right before you start working out, huh, Mike? Yeah, once the Celsius kicks in. Yeah, that's when I get real springy. As Yoshida Yahagi, not only is he one of the best trainers in Japan, but he designs a mean jacket. As Forever Young This was just a little bit earlier out there stretching his legs, just a little gallop.
And you know what's good, Simon? I kind of like seeing that. I mean, he's energized. The flight didn't take anything out of him. Again, body language we talk about, has his ears straight up, and I mean, this is perfect.
Yeah, we have a good place of reference for this horse because we've seen him in the Derby, we've seen him in the Classic last year, and we know how he gets around the racetrack. And this is just normal for him. You got to remember, he was third in this race last year, behind Sierra Leone and Fierceness. So, I mean, his form is right there, and it stacks up against some of the best in this race.
And then that begs the question, is he a better version of what we saw a year ago? Last year he was 3, now he's 4, right? He was third in the Derby, he was third in the Breeders' Cup Classic. We could have a bigger, stronger version of Forever Young than what we saw a year ago.
Correct, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's quite possible. And he ran third in this race last year with the 109 buyer. I mean, if he goes right back to that with everyone else, he's right there.
Now, 109 buyer could win this race this year. I mean,
100%.
that's what we're looking at. And we keep talking about how stacked the Classic is, but it really is a tale of last year's 3-year-olds versus this year's 3-year-olds.
It's great.
We have Fierceness, Sierra Leone, and Forever Young taking on Sovereignty and Journalism and company. I mean, it is a clash of two classes, and it's going to be a throwdown.
I can't wait for it.
I think it's one of the best races that I've witnessed in the last, 15, 20 years or so, for sure. But to your point, because you usually get one group, the 4-year-olds dominate or the 3-year-olds dominate. Here we've got two classes of horses that are coming in, and it's hard to put a line between them. It really is.
Right now we're going to get back out to Churchill Downs with Kate and Bradar.
All right, a busy morning for the McPeak Barn. Tell me first about Mystic Dan and his workout, what you were trying to accomplish and what you saw.
Just a happy half. I had Francisco Arrieta work him. He's going to ride him. He did such a good job on him in that last race, and I just saw him hit 12s, just bust along 12s. The Colt's done that all his career. Last work going into this race. Last week he had a 59 and change breeze, so he really didn't need anything wicked fast today. He just needed something to keep him on keel.
Is he showing you anything different or even better, that he's an even stronger version of himself than he was as a 3-year-old?
Well, he's certainly bigger and stronger as a 4-year-old, but but he's a pro. He goes out there and does his work every day. He's been one of those even since he was a 2-year-old. He was a horse that actually a little unrecognizable in the barn because he did everything right every day.
You've always been excited about Blackout Time. Tell me about his work, and it was in company. Why in company for him versus solo for Mystic Dan?
Well, he's a young horse, and he's still got some basic fitness to get there. And he hadn't been running that much this year. He's only got one race in the last few months. It was 2 months between runs going into the futurity. And today we wanted to work in company, but he outmatches about anything you work him against. And he went with a horse named So Special. The work kind of got. I thought the work was a little clumsy myself. The rider on the gray horse So Special went off a little slow. Manny Escobar was trying to get him to go on. I thought the first quarter of a mile was probably a little dawdling, but they finished good and a nice long gallop out. And looks like he's walking out good.
With that in mind, is there anything you'll do differently in the days leading up to the race to kind of counter whatever happened in the workout?
Well, I think in the workout past the wire, he got a nice long gallop out, like deep-winded gallop out, so I don't think it's a big deal, but really wanted to see him break off and go a little quicker than they went. I don't know what the official time is, but, they don't pay us for morning workout time, so that's good. But nothing will really change. He'll go to California tomorrow. I probably would have worked both of these horses tomorrow morning, but the plane and the schedule, I really didn't want to work them and then ship them immediately. I wanted to have a chance for us to go over them a little bit, for Greg and the team to look at them before they got on the plane.
Kenny, I'm sure we're going to be talking to you a bit more as we get close to Torpedo Anna parading for the last time as a race mare in front of the crowd, both at Keeneland and Churchill. But just quickly, is it a little bit of a relief at this stage to know that she now goes on to part 2 of her career?
It's not a relief at all. No. It's been fantastic being around her. Certainly just a real honor to be able to take a horse and show her off to people. I mean, I think I'll probably look back in my career and say what a great period that was for sure. And, today to be able to let people come in and, kind of touch and feel her, which is, like I said, I think it's a real honor to be able to do that. And hopefully people show up at Keeneland. I'm sure they will today. It'll be exciting.
Oh, I'm sure they'll show up. And I'm sure they have gratitude for the experience as you do. We appreciate it, Kenny.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Days run together.
Tomorrow and the next day. Life of a trainer.
Yearling sales just finished yesterday. Oh my God, I've been like burning candles at both ends, and just get focused in on Breeders' Cup from here. But yeah, this weekend will be fun.
No rest for the weary, but all systems go toward California for Kenny McPeak.
Caden, thank you so much. And thank you to Kenny. He's so accommodating with the media. He gets it. He's one of those trainers. Yeah. He really gets it. This is an entertainment business, and he's here for the entertainment.
No, he understands it. And you said he's burning candle at both ends. He went through the Keeneland sale, and he was at a sale last week buying yearlings and trying to manage Breeders' Cup horses. And he's got a farm to run as well. There's a lot going on there.
And he's got a very specific price points for those yearlings. He's not spending $3-4 million. He's looking for those,
$200,000-$300,000 yearlings.
Somewhere in there. We take a look at Blackout Time. He was a bargain at $210,000 if the early returns are an indication. He's already made that much money back by winning a maiden special weight and finishing second in the Breeders' Futurity. He's pointed for the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Juvenile presented by the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance, and this was earlier today.
Yeah, he said in the interview the start of the workout was a little bit clumsy, right? The gray horse, the lead horse, went a little too slow early on. But in hindsight, as a trainer, I'd rather have him go a little slow early on. You can always have him finish up and gallop out. You can see here the horse down on the inside now. They kind of get together and finish up. But, he's got good form. He was second to Ted Noffey. That's a pretty decent race.
He's just playing with that horse on his inside, right?
I like Blackout Time a lot. I actually picked him last time in a Breeders' Futurity. He's an improving horse. All 3 races improved on the buyer scale. And, not this time. They are just absolute runners.
And that's a nice drill for Blackout Time. The Juvenile's always a fun race because young horses, you have no idea who takes that step forward, limited information, and any one of them could turn into a superstar.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what's so good about not only the juvenile boys, but for the fillies, too. They are the future, so it's good to get a nice little early preview of them.
As Blackout Time finishing that workup. Did we get the final time?
I think it was 49-2.
I think it was
49-2. All right, we shall see as he'll be making his way out with his stablemates tomorrow as they'll catch a flight here to Del Mar. I'm sure we'll get you that shot, them coming off the ramp. The ramp shot, second most important shot in racing after the bath. We're going to take a break. When we return, we will have obviously more contenders, workers, etc. They've ripped up the flowers, replaced them with the decorative cabbage, and we are all sparkled up for Breeders' Cup with just a week to go to the World Championships.
Grabs the rebound, pushes it ahead, finds the open man, he puts it up, scores!
New customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, play your game.
You might take something for your heart. You might get support for your joints. Or even use something for your digestion. So why wouldn't you take something for the most important part of you? Your brain. People all over the country take Prevagen for their brain. In fact, Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years. The most important supplement for the most important part of you. Try Prevagen for your brain today.
The best 2-year-old by legendary sire Quality Road.
Hit about $1.5 million.
Very, very impressive debut. Cantering home. Could not have been more impressive.
Coast to coast in the American Pharaoh. He's the real deal.
Undefeated and unchallenged at 2.
He's just too good. He wins the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Corniche.
For centuries, the bond between horse and human has been forged in trust and hands-on care. Thoroughbred racing is combining that tradition with cutting-edge technology to raise our standards even higher. New investments in wearable biometrics, advanced imaging, and AI help optimize our safety programs.
That opening quarter mile was a quick one.
Every day, a commitment to improving their care. So win or lose, it's safety that runs first. To learn more, visit safetyrunsfirst.com.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the seat view feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Guys, we're here at the gate and got Desert Gate schooling in here. He is a juvenile, so always important with any racehorse, but especially with these babies, to make sure they're super comfortable. And all they do is they bring them in, make sure they stand nice and quietly, make sure they load to begin with. And this horse loaded like an absolute pro. And then they can choose to either back them out of the starting gate, or they can open up the front of the gate and have them walk out forward. I'm not sure what they're going to do here. That's up to the rider and the trainer. But we'll keep an eye on Desert Gate here. And I think we're going to get another Baffert horse as well. I heard that Nevada Beach is going to be visiting the gate, so we'll wait around and see.
Thank you, Michelle. It's always important that they can get out of the gate, but as juveniles, they're learning. They're all putting all the pieces together, so it's an even more critical part of the preparation.
Yeah, in Desert Gate, he's only had 4 career starts, and to me, I thought he might have been best in the Del Mar Futurity here when he was second to Brand. Stumbled really bad, and had to take up down the backside and still only got beat a length.
And came back with a runner-up behind Jeff Mullins' horse, Intrepido, who's very impressive last out.
Let's check in with Joaquin Jaime.
Yeah, Mike, things are starting to wind down here during training hours as it's getting pretty quiet out here as we approach the top of the hour. One of the headliners in this year's Breeders' Cup is running in the Breeders' Cup Classic, and he was third last year. That is Forever Young. He got into town just a couple days ago. We saw him out on the track not too long ago. I was speaking to Kate Hunter, who's the representative for Team Japan, just trying to get some dates and when we can anticipate some of their final works. And she told me that for Forever Young, his workout date and his final preparation for the Breeders' Cup Classic is most likely going to be coming on Tuesday morning. Now in Japan, their big race day is on Sunday, so usually in Japan, their final workouts for those races usually come on Wednesday. They come here to the States, they just back everything up a day, big race day on Saturday. Generally, they have their final workout dates on Tuesday. And just an interesting observation when you look at some of the horses running in this year's Breeders' Cup and horses that have held their form. You have the top 3 finishers from last year's Breeders' Cup Classic all back in here. Sierra Leone Fierceness and, of course, Forever Young. You back it up a year, you have the top 3 finishers from the 2024 Kentucky Derby, Mystic Dance, Sierra Leone, and Forever Young. And then, of course, this year's Kentucky Derby with Sovereignty, Journalism, and Baeza. And you just look at least those 3 races and how well these horses have held their form. It's really cool that all these horses are going to be running here at the Breeders' Cup this year. Not as big of a team as Japan had last year, a year ago. They had 18 runners in the Breeders' Cup races, only a team of 8 this year. But of course, that team of 8 is led by Forever Young. We'll come back, check in with some of the other contenders here in just a moment. For now, we send you over to Santa Anita with Michelle.
All right, as promised, we have Nevada Beach now coming to the gate for trainer Bob Baffert. Went out and did the gallop under Morgan, and then she pulled up here and brought her back around with the pony. And you can see another Stone Cold Pro right here. This is going to be Nevada Beach in the gate. Now, we watched Desert Gate earlier, and he didn't move a muscle. Nevada Beach a little bit more on the wiggly side in here, moving back and forth. And you can see him leaning his butt against the back gate. So if this was a race day, they'd really want to step him up. So they might go ahead and move him around just a little bit to get him off of that hind end. They want him to stand all 4 legs square. Okay, so we have a horse in the gate also, a Mandela trainee, going to be backing out now, but they're going to keep Nevada Beach in here just for another minute or so to make sure that he's standing square and relaxed. As long as he's going to keep wiggling, they're going to keep working on him here, moving his head around, pointing him and unpointing him. You can see the gate assistant behind patting him on the bottom every now and then just to give him some reassurance. And then hopefully he stands still enough that they're going to let him out. Here we go, coming out the back, and he might come out quickly because he's been a little on the tilty side in there. Oh, he didn't. He came out like a good boy. He says, look, I'm a big boy. It's not an easy fit in there. I'm going to try to load him into a gate again, see if he stands a little bit better. So I've backed him out and put him back in. This kind of schooling also works out well if on a race day scenario, you know, something happens in the gate where horses have to be backed out. Now this horse has been doing that. Horses do it in the mornings often, and it does help with their schooling. You can see he's standing a little bit better now that he's in here for the second time. Much more even on all 4 feet. We've got that Mandela loaded back in as well. He still leans a touch. I'm not sure if he always does this. If Jimmy was by me, I'd ask him. But he's very leany to the back end. Let's go see if we can find Jimmy. Jimmy, is he always wiggly in the gate? No. So he's not normally as wiggly as he is in the gate. But this is why we school. This is what the importance of schooling is, to get the horses in there and get them more comfortable. And they're going to bring him out the front this time instead of behind like they did last time. And he's off to go finish out his workout.
Nicely done, Michelle, and hopefully he loses the wiggles before race time.
Yeah, well, he's lightly raced. I mean, you're talking about a horse that broke his maiden 4 starts ago, is now in the Breeders' Cup Classic. He's, I mean, completely fast-tracked, right? He went through the maiden race condition, then he was second in the LaSalle Derby, and then he won the Goodwood, and that, you know, ended him up in the Classic. I mean, he's been, the curve has been, well, there's no curve. It's just been an uphill climb.
Baffert did that with Arrogate. I think he had him in the Classic 3 starts after breaking his maiden, not even 4. At any rate, let's check in with Andy Biancone and her special runner in this year's Breeders' Cup.
Guys, Lenny Lou shipped in perfect order last night for my dad. She's just incredible. Obviously, ran third at Ascot behind True Love, only getting beat a length and 3/4, and came back to the States, has been undefeated since, even beating the boys last time out in the Leinster Hollywood Beach. But she's a well-traveled girl and just impresses me every single time. Last night on the van, coming from the airport. Now, keep in mind, she had to van from Palmettos to Miami, fly from Miami to Indianapolis, had about a 5-hour layover in Indianapolis, then flew from Indianapolis to LAX and van from LAX to San Diego. And she was just calm, cool, and collected, enjoying the ride. A lot of other horses on the van were actually quite nervous, getting a little bit washed out, but Lenny Lou was just having a good time, playing with her water bucket, really just enjoying the scenes. And we got her off the van at about 10:30, washed her poultice off, gave her a little walk, and then she got to go in her stall and have a little rest at about 11:30 p.m. We tucked her in, said goodnight, and brought her out this morning. But she's in perfect form. She's getting a bath here, and we will be taking her to the track tomorrow morning.
You know, one of the things I love about our reporters, and Andy doing it right now, is they really bring you like the personality of the horses, and you really see just that connection between human and horse and how special these animals really are to them. And Lenny Lou, a Breeders' Cup winner for Andy and Patrick Biancone. First of all, we're going to embarrass her because we'll have the camera on her and see the crazy celebration when she's sobbing and whatnot. But it's really hard not to root for her.
Exactly. Especially they only paid $23,000 for it. She's made over $200,000 already, so that's a home run in itself. And I mean, she hasn't even run yet in a Breeders' Cup.
Yeah, Patrick's friend was with the owners. There's a whole story there, which we'll get into a little bit later. But amazing how they acquired this horse.
If only we knew somebody in that barn.
Yeah.
If only we knew. There's a look at the Brig. They're not a sponsor of the Breeders' Cup or Del Mar, but they are watching over everything we do. There's a good chance that's where I'm having lunch and dinner. We'll be back. More works from Santa Anita, Del Mar, Churchill, and Keeneland after this.
City of Light, multiple Grade 1 winner, who posted 7 triple-digit buyers, stands to continue the legacy of his sire, Quality Road, with graded stakes winners, Menti, Chop Chop, and Formidable Man. Sire of multiple Grade 1 winner and champion 2-year-old Fierceness. City of Light, a proven sire in the making, standing at Lane's End Farm.
Calling all!
Calling all!
Calling all, calling all, calling all, trillionaires, calling all, calling all, calling all, trillionaires.
Come and join the club that has rewards for everyone. I'm talking birthday perks, free daily game, and other stuff that's fun.
Designed for people who love thrills like me and her and him, and with a weekly bonus pack, our thrills are filled up to the brim. Can you thrill me?
Uh-huh. Yeah, because this will be like the most amount of pure glee that ya ever gonna get from rewards that start day one. So we're calling all,
Calling all, calling all, trillionaires, calling all, calling all. Calling all, trillionaires, calling all, calling all, calling all, trillionaires, calling all, calling all.
Calling all trillionaires. FanDuel Casino.
Longines. Elegance is an attitude.
FanDuel's Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup is presented by WinStar Farm and by Phasic Tipton.
Welcome back to Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup as we move into hour 3 here on FanDuel TV, taking you closer to all the action here as we prepare for the World Championship. Sovereignty has been the name in the 3-year-old crop this year. He's been the name in the game this year. He was the way we led the show, and right now we go to Andy Biancone, who's standing by with his trainer, Bill Mott.
Well, Scylla and Sovereignty both trained this morning. Bill, what were your impressions on both these horses this morning?
Both look good. Both seem like they've shipped good. Scylla shipped in yesterday, so this was her first day to the track. We just jogged her, a little bit with the pony, and she seemed to be happy enough, and we'll give her a gallop tomorrow, and she'll probably have a breeze, probably as late as Monday.
I know when Sovereignty was walking around the shed row, you told me it was up in the air whether he would jog or gallop. He did gallop. What led to that decision ultimately?
Well, we just shipped in, and, it was just whether or not to give him another easy day or not, and he seemed to have good energy, and we just decided on the way up, well, let's go ahead. He looks good. He seems to be feeling good, and so we gave him his first gallop over the track, and I thought he was moving well. He looked very good out there.
When should we expect to see Sovereignty breeze next?
I think a possibility for Monday as well. I'd like to get it in by Monday if all is going well. That'll give him a few days to gallop over the track and get familiar with his surroundings, and then we'll give him a little breeze. We did most of our major breezing up in Saratoga. He was breezing in company there, and we put in some, good solid breezes. So what he'll have here is probably more on the easy side, I suppose, just coming right into the race.
Should we expect to see Scylla and Sovereignty work solo?
They would at this point. Yeah. Scylla will, she could go either way, but we'll probably put the blinkers on her and she'll do enough. I think, once we add those, she'll know she's breezing, and she just, she had her last race in the Spinster, which wasn't that long ago. So, she's fit and ready to go.
Just out of pure curiosity, I always like to ask, temperament-wise, how are each of these horses?
They're good. Well, Scylla is, you know, she doesn't want to be told what to do too much. I mean, she's got a little bit of a mind of her own, but you know, we've learned to get along with her, and you know, once she trains, she's very straightforward. She doesn't want to be restrained too much. She doesn't want you to hang on to her too much. It's like, let me go, let me, you know, just let me do my thing, and she's much happier. Sovereignty is a very good disposition. I mean, he's great around the barn. They're both actually great around the barn. They're very good in the stalls. They're easy to work with, and both eat good. Sovereignty's a really good eater, so he's always willing to train and makes our job easy.
Phil, thank you so much. Always a pleasure catching up.
Okay, thank you.
I never knew I had so much in common with Sovereignty. It's a really good eater. Really good eater. Well, I feel better about myself.
And runs fast, too.
Runs fast.
So, there you go.
Really good eater. Yeah, really good eater. You know who Bill Mott really reminds me of is this trainer, Riley Mott.
Yes.
I mean, you put them together, they look almost identical.
Kind of similar, right?
Yeah, well, just a little bit. At any rate, yeah, we keep talking about Sovereignty. Still, I mean, she's as good of a prospect as anybody else has in this year's Breeders' Cup as well.
Yeah, she was in the filly and mare sprint last year.
They're backing up the Brinks truck for all your wagers here.
Yeah, there we go. I wish some money was flying onto that thing. Yeah, she was fourth beating the length last time in a filly and mare sprint last year, so she's going to stretch out again this year, so we shall see what happens.
All right, we will have more from Bill Mott and Sovereignty, and as the week goes on, we're going to keep a keen eye on the likely favorite in this year's Breeders' Cup Classic. But Scylla, once again, a very talented mare in her own right. Bill Mott bringing in a couple of live ones to this year's Breeders' Cup World Championships. And you worked for Bill, so this is probably usual for his MO to come in this early.
Yes, yeah. He's always done that, dating back to when I take you all the way back to 1997 when Hollywood Park, he brought in a bunch of horses, and we came out 2 weeks ahead of time. I was out here 2 weeks ahead of time. And that was a tremendous run had that day. So he's always, you know, these are the types of races he was always pointed to. And like he said, Sovereignty's been based up at Saratoga. He's kind of switched his MO about 20 years ago. You know, based his operation up at Saratoga. So he's been doing all his work up there, and as he said, some stiff workouts at 59 in company. I know 2 works back, so you won't see much on Monday. He'll just go around there in an easy, probably half mile.
So we'll have more from Bill Mott as the week goes on. Andy Biancone doing a great job of getting some more. He's not an easy interview. He was very accommodating there, but he doesn't like the spotlight as much as somebody who is in the top 10 in trainers and winning Breeders' Cup and Derby races year in and year out. He would prefer to not do those interviews, and
I think he's got better.
He's gotten better. But I've called you. I remember being a young reporter and calling Simon and being like, "Hey, can you tell Bill to talk to me?"
I feel like, don't you feel like since the Derby though this year that it's almost the best you've seen, just being accommodating with so many great interviews?
Pressure off. Yeah, I'll catch up with him. Usually have my yearly breakfast with him up here in the tent for Breeders' Cup.
We're going to take a break. When we return, more action from Del Mar. It's what the Irish would call a soft day. A little bit of a marine layer. That sun's going to poke out sooner or later, I promise.
Post time for the Whitney. The field turns for home. Fierceness is the one to catch. He has a 3-length lead. Sierra Leone down the center of the track is coming with powerful strides. And Highland Falls is in there too. But it's Sierra Leone who takes the lead from last to first. Highland Falls trying his best. Sierra Leone has won the Whitney.
Gun runners on top of the world.
FanDuel held a shooting contest to promote its new MySpend tool. MySpend makes it easy to view your deposit and bet history all in one place. Because betting without knowing how much you're spending is like shooting in the dark. See the whole picture. Make FanDuel's MySpend tool part of your system and stop shooting in the dark.
Douglas trusts Prevagen for his brain, and this is his story.
I'm Douglas, and I'm from Chicago. I was looking for something specifically for my brain. That's when I chose Prevagen. And the confidence I've received from Prevagen allows me to continue to do those things that I love. I have been taking Prevagen for more than 9 years, and it really works for me.
Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years.
And Fierceness is given way, coming by the 16th pole, and Mystic Dan is now come through on the inside. It is Mystic Dan down toward the inside with the lead in the final 16. Forever Young, Sierra Leone is coming. These three coming down to the wire. Who's it going to be? Oh, it's the photo of the Derby.
Mystic Dan. So he has pointed to that dirt mile. We're going to take a look at his work. The Kentucky Derby winner from a year ago refound that form. He's won a couple of graded stakes this year as he gears up for the dirt mile.
Yeah, one thing about Mystic Dan, too, he's a great horse, but Simon, he absolutely loves it at Churchill Downs.
Yes.
You could see that in all his wins there. But I do feel like he is rounding back into that form that we saw when he won the Derby.
Won the Derby, and then things just went south big time. And Kenny McPeak's done a great job in bringing him back to a semblance of his former self. I mean, he's won a couple of graded stakes earlier this year, and here he is working a half mile in 48.
48 and 2 to be exact.
Yes.
As he was out on the track earlier today at Churchill Downs. And yes, this is his favorite track. Is it necessarily a horse who can't take his race with him or take his track with him? Or is he a horse that just does his best running at Churchill?
No, so his best buyer is 101, and he did that twice at Oaklawn Park. The other 3 times he ran 100 buyer was at Churchill Downs. So no, to answer your question, he's definitely a horse that can run anywhere. I think it's just a matter of how he's doing, and right now, especially judging by this work, I think he's doing quite well.
This work looks very familiar. I think we saw it.
Oh, no, that was on Blackout.
Oh, that's Black.
The 2-year-old.
Okay.
So,
well, I just remember the exercise rider looked at his watch the whole time around there, but yeah.
Same exercise rider.
Exactly.
So that was earlier today at Churchill. As we take a look at Nitrogen now, as we continue our look at these runners getting ready for the Breeders' Cup. Nitrogen on the outside here. And I missed the time there because the lights are very bright in my eyes. But this is Nitrogen getting out on the track for the Cassie Barn.
I think this camp is very confident with Nitrogen in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Word on the street is they're expecting another huge effort. And you talk about a model of consistency. I mean, she runs a bang-up race. She's been on the go since March, and she never runs a bad one, Joe.
Yeah, 6 for 11, 3 seconds, 2/3, never been off the board. And I love the fact that they did try her on dirt. I know in Saratoga, she had been running on turf her whole career. And then up at Saratoga, it was a grade 3 event scheduled on the turf. And it came off and was running a slop, and she won by 17 that day. Since then, they ran her into Alabama, where she was 2-1, ended up winning that, and just got beat ahead in the Spinster to Jin, which I thought, if you go back and watch that replay, she kind of, I don't know if she shied away or leaned out, but I think it definitely cost her in the end.
Yes, she drifted a little bit, didn't she, late? That absolutely. Yep. I mean, what a filly. She's grade 1 winner on the turf. She's grade 1 winner on the dirt.
She's done a magnificent job. She's made about $1.7 million. And after this work, our very own Kate and Bradar caught up with Mark Cassie.
Mark, Nitrogen's final move before the Breeders' Cup. Tell me what you were looking for.
I just, she's not much of a workhorse, so we did give her some company. I thought she looked great. I think they got her in 48 and 4. She's an amazing horse. She only does what she has to do. A lot of times I'll just breeze her by herself, but I thought, well, we'll give her a little company, and I thought she looked great.
She's shown so much brilliance on both surfaces. What are you seeing in her now, Ed, that tells you that the distaff and this spot was the right spot and the right time for her?
It's interesting. I was looking at some of her numbers yesterday, Thorograph numbers. It's amazing, really, how much better she is on the dirt. When you look at her record, she's done so well on the grass, but her last Thorograph number was as good as anybody. So she's thriving. We're ready.
The complexion of the race obviously changes dramatically with Torpedo Anna out of the mix, but how would you categorize it as far as depth and where she fits right now?
Without being too cocky, I think they have to beat her. So, obviously Bob's filly's going to have the home field advantage. She's got some speed. Our Nitrogen likes to have a target, and so she's going to get some targets. Looks like there is some speed in there. The distance won't be a problem, and hopefully, she's been amazing. I think she's a neck and a head, or nose and a head from winning her last 8, and she's always handled everything we've thrown at her. So this will be interesting.
We wish you good luck.
Thank you.
One of the things I love about Mark Casse is he's unabashedly confident when he has the horse. And I think that a lot of trainers, you don't want to jinx it. You don't want to be too, because there's so many things that can happen that cause a defeat, or you don't get the trip, et cetera, et cetera. He's not like that. He's like, they got to beat me. And I love it. And he was trying to hold it back, but he just can't.
Right.
He knows he has the goods.
Yeah, exactly. He's done the handicap. He's handicapped all the fillies and mares on the East Coast. He just set the horse to beat. Obviously, he doesn't know his seismic beauty as well. So, but he thinks he's got a big shot. That was a confident Mark Casse. I like it.
We'll have more from that division as well. Let's go to the mile. Rhetorical out on the racetrack earlier today, as we're going to take a look at it. Right now, actually, we have that work. Actually, this was yesterday, my bad. The FanDuel Mile, presented by the PDJF. This is Rhetorical at Churchill Downs, as we take a look at this one stretching the legs.
Horse for Will Walden, who, what a performance. This horse is 3 parts of a length away from being undefeated, and his kind of coming out party was in the Turf Mile at Keeneland just 3 weeks ago. Up until then, allowance races, competing primarily against New York breds, and this was a bust-out win here under Irad Ortiz, and he's coming in with a big shot. And to your point, Joe, not this time. So has another Grade 1 winner here.
Yeah, not this time. Dirt, turf, sprinting long. They could do anything. And I tell you what, this horse looks absolutely perfect. This is exactly what you want to see. Not doing too much. You could see the rider has a pretty much stranglehold on him, cruising around there. One thing about Rhetorical too, he's another horse. Every single start has improved on the buyer scale. Just steadily improving it. And for a New York bred to go into Grade 1 company at Keeneland, and with that performance, he's definitely capable of getting the Breeders' Cup.
And it's been incremental improvement.
Yes.
He didn't go from a 78 to a 101 in his next start. He just kept climbing the ladder.
Which is something I think you really like to see in 6 career starts. To Mike's point, I hate seeing horses, not saying I hate, but when you go from an 80 to all of a sudden a 101, I feel like it kind of reverts back to the mean in their third start to an 85 or 90. When a horse steadily kind of improves like that, especially with trainer Will Walden. Ever since he started his young training career, it seems like he's just starting to win races in bunches, whether it's maiden races, allowance races, stakes company. And with Rhetorical, when he gets a horse of this caliber, he can get the job done.
But speaking to that point, to maintain that percentage, Simon, we talk about it all the time. It's about placing your horses correctly. Obviously, he had a gelded son of Not This Time with loads of talent. He took advantage of those state-bred conditions in 4 of his first 5 starts. Right. He didn't start throwing this horse into the deep end. He let this horse develop.
That's exactly right. He's a gelding. You can run him wherever you want, right? We're not worrying about his value here as a stallion. So that's right. Just, put him in the spot where he's a short price favorite. And that's why high percentage trainers win, because they put their horse in the right spot. He runs a ton of horses at Horseshoe Indy. You and I cover on Wednesday and Thursday. He's over there, every Wednesday, Thursday with a couple of maidens on the grass to boost that percentage. So, yeah, this is a horse, and he's got a name like a decent horse. Rhetorical. That sounds like a Grade 1 winner to me, right?
That's important.
Yep, it is.
That's important. Let's get back out to Churchill Downs with Caton.
All right, as you can see, Rhetorical is all chill after his final Breeders' Cup workout yesterday. And he has been very attentive since I came up. Will describes him as a very curious horse, also a very intelligent horse. And he has been engaging since the minute we came to his barn. You can see that he looks just super. He's carrying great flesh in his workout yesterday. I thought was exceptional. He covered the ground easily, did it comfortably, and did everything he was asked to do. Now, what's interesting is in his workout, he was equipped with these blinkers that you can see have just a very small little cup. We'll refer to them as cheater blinkers. And he said he doesn't wear them for his races, but the problem is that he can get a little keen in his workouts in company. If he works in company, he works too fast. If he works without company, without any blinkers, he works too slow and gets to looking around. So in order to keep him gathered up and on the bridle, but at just the right pace, these have done the trick. The workout was exactly what Will was looking for, and he said, in the beginning, this was a horse who outworked everybody he worked with in the morning. He's a very good workhorse. Getting the right balance has been the key, and obviously so far so good to that degree. But Rhetorical feeling very good, very fresh as he heads to Del Mar.
Well, hey, careful. He's going to take a bite out of your jacket there. Hungry. I'm going to feed that horse. At any rate, we will have more in just a moment. Let's take a look. We're going to go to Infinite Sky right now, as he's based in Kentucky for trainer Brad. She is based in Kentucky for trainer Brad Cox, coming off that runner-up, a game runner-up in the Jessamine.
Yeah, so she's only going to go in 50, and if you look at all of her workouts, this is typical of her. You're not going to see a flashy 47, 48 flat or anything like that. Most of her workouts are between the 50 range, even 51 and 4 she's going. And she's a turf filly, too. You're not going to see a lot of turf horses really blaze in the morning.
No, and look who she's by. Not this time again.
Yeah.
I mean, it just keeps coming up and up. We've seen dirt horses, turf horses, but she practiced like she plays. Look at her knee action here. I mean, you can see why she's a turf horse. I mean, she like I say, she practices like she plays. She doesn't, in her races, I guarantee you, she's going 48 to 49 max the first half mile. She's got no early speed, a much higher knee action. And that would be indicative of a horse that likes the grass.
And she's another one. We were talking about improving horses. Not like a Rhetorical, but ran a 59, 70, 71. So, albeit not huge, but it is definitely on the improve. And you could definitely notice that with a lot of young horses like that.
There's a good look at her on the gallop out, looking very strong as she's going in the juvenile fillies turf. Let's take a look at Argos now. He's in the juvenile turf. Argos working on the inside, 48-3.
This is for Riley Mott, who's going to be stabled with his dad on the backside here. I think Argos, who comes in off a winning urine race in the Summer Stakes, and by Nyquist, who, although he was a Kentucky Derby winner, his horses run extremely well on the grass, and he's a horse he's done nothing wrong. Again, improvement, 60, 77, 81, stretched out to a one-turn mile here last time out.
Yeah, and Argos, another horse. It is turf, so you're not going to see anything really flashy. Actually, on this is 48-3. Last couple works was 102, 50-2, so really kind of woke up here, but only being a week out, Riley Mott doesn't want to do too much, but I think this is a good kind of, kind of open their legs up and let them do a little something.
Again, you can see the turf horse. That's him on the inside, right? Just that kind of slightly higher knee action.
And so Argos, 2 for 3 in the career. You mentioned his win in the Summer Stakes at Woodbine back on September the 13th. As Riley Mott, another second-generation trainer here, as his father Bill Mott we talked to earlier, and now Kate and Bradar standing by with Riley.
Argos out bright and early for Riley Mott. Riley, tell me what you were looking for and what you saw.
Just looking for a maintenance type of work, so to say, just something to keep the horse happy and ticking over to next Friday, and that's exactly what we got. The two riders, Lorenzo and Antonio, did a really good job executing the work, and the horse looked happy coming home to the wire, just under his own power, and galloped out well and came back good so far.
Riley, is he a horse that always struck you as an early bloomer and a horse capable of this kind of a jump, or has he come to hand gradually?
Just watching his training and everything before his first race, I always thought he'd make probably a better 3-year-old than 2-year-old. He's just kind of a growthy type of colt, big, strong bone, not necessarily super precocious from what I thought, although he did work really well at the 2-year-old sale. So, the fact that he won first time wasn't overly surprising, but I hope and think that he'll probably make a better older horse.
And talk me through the emotions going to the Breeders' Cup with your own horse.
Well, I mean, I've been watching you guys on FanDuel and TVG since I was a little kid, leading up to the Breeders' Cup. It's kind of like my Christmas and Super Bowl is what I've been saying. And it's just such an exciting time of year for anyone in the industry. And just to be able to go to California and have a horse represent our stable is, super gratifying and exciting.
It's got to be even extra special in a way, not just with your own interests and your own horse, but to be there with your dad having Sovereignty and the run he's been on and as he goes in the Classic.
Yeah, really, really great. I mean, it's been a special year for our stable and a special year for my dad's stable, and I think we're going to, post up next to my dad and Sovereignty in the same barn, Del Mar, so it should be a fun week, and excited to have the entire family in town.
It will certainly be a barn that we will be focusing on. We wish you continued good luck along the way.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Riley Mott with Argos, and a lot of excitement surrounding the Mott camp.
I could see the resemblance between Riley and Bill, huh?
If you close your eyes and listen, it sounds just like his father.
It's crazy.
The other day, Keith Asmussen won a race at Keeneland and was getting interviewed. Sounded just like his father, Steve.
Yeah.
It was almost identical.
Thank
and
God.
If you see him walking, too, that gait, literally.
Yeah.
I mean, I could do a workout analysis on Riley and Bill, and they
I think we have an idea for day 7.
Jog up and down the shed.
Okay, enough of us. Let's get to Joaquin.
Yeah, Mike, it's getting pretty quiet here as training hours have started to wind down. We continue to make our rounds out here on the Del Mar backside to check in to see who is here. Trainer George Weaver, he has brought in a team of 4 to the Breeders' Cup this year, and one of them is right over my left shoulder. That is going to be Dorth Vader, who's going to be running in the Breeders' Cup distaff. She's a 5-year-old mare, 17 starts, 5 victories, and is banked over $1 million. She's really been all over the country this year as well. She started at Gulfstream Park, then she ran into La Troyenne, where she had a lot of trouble going into the first turn. She finished 4th that day, only lost by 1.5 lengths. Her lone victory this year was part of the Breeders' Cup Challenge Series. She punched her ticket to the distaff by winning the Grade 1 Ogden Phipps. She did that 3 starts ago, drew off, won by nearly 5. She finished 4th in the Molly Pitcher after that, but Mike, Torpedo Anna is the horse that she was involved in a photo with in the Grade 1 personal incident in her last start. She just missed by a nose to the horse of the year in her most recent start, put up her career best by her speed figure for Dorth Vader, who's going to be in the Breeders' Cup distaff this year for trainer George Weaver. Let me show you something that's pretty cool here as well. Is Dorth Vader, she's going from the front of the stall to the back of the stall, but I don't know if you can see exactly what is right behind her, tucked away in that corner. She clearly loves the camera here, but right behind her in that back corner, yeah, some horses, they like their travel companions with them, and it's usually a goat that's in the stall or right in front of their stall. Not Dorth Vader. She doesn't have a goat as a friend. Her best friend is right there tucked in the corner. How about not just a tiny teddy bear, a giant teddy bear? I was talking to some of the connections back here. They told me as long as that they've had this horse in their care, that teddy bear that you see in the back corner right there has been all over the country with Dorth Vader. Now we've been traveling here to Southern California at Del Mar for the Breeders' Cup. Let's go over to Michelle at Santa Anita.
Well, guys, it's been over 2 hours into this breakfast show, and we haven't seen Michael McCarthy. Joaquin did not check on his laundry. I'm not sure if he packed everything. I see some stuff on his desk that I feel like he might need. So I'm just going to give him a call and see if he answers, because I'm sure he misses me for sure. Let's see. There's a 60-40 chance he doesn't answer this call. Let's see. Should I call him multiple times in a row in case I'm on, like, Do Not Disturb? If not, we'll just leave him a message. I'll feel better then. Oh, voicemail. But he didn't decline me. I can tell how many times I rang. Michael, it's Michelle on The Breakfast Show. I noticed you moved to Del Mar very early, which is sad for me. So I just want to make sure you have everything you need because I wasn't able to help you pack this year. So if you need any bleach or Epsom salts or some extra laundry detergent, let me know. Also, there's a pair of glasses on your desk. I'm not sure if you need those. And also this money plant. I feel like the money plant is very lucky, so maybe I should bring it with me when I come to Del Mar. And also, just so you know, Robert's here to shoe. Okay, talk to you later. Bye. Oh, I hope he answers next time.
I hope he answers too, although he'll enjoy the voicemail.
I love it.
Breaking an entry. You're in somebody's office there.
I've never seen a money tree. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't think that's real. At any rate, we are going to take a break. But when we return, since we have so many runners returning from last year's Breeders' Cup, it behooves us to take a look back to 2024, the first of this 2-year run of the Breeders' Cups here, where the turf meets the surf. The breakfast shows continue right after this.
Grabs the rebound, pushes it ahead, finds the open man, he puts it up, scores!
New customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, play your game.
You might take something for your heart. You might get support for your joints. Or even use something for your digestion. So why wouldn't you take something for the most important part of you? Your brain. People all over the country take Prevagen for their brain. In fact, Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years. The most important supplement for the most important part of you. Try Prevagen for your brain today.
The best 2-year-old by legendary sire Quality Road.
Hit about $1.5 million. Very, very impressive debut. Cantering home. Could not have been more impressive.
Coast to coast in the American Pharaoh. He's the real deal.
Undefeated and unchallenged at 2.
He's just too good! He wins the Breeders' Cup Juvenile! Cornish!
Cornish.
For centuries, the bond between horse and human has been forged in trust and hands-on care. Thoroughbred racing is combining that tradition with cutting-edge technology to raise our standards even higher. New investments in wearable biometrics, advanced imaging, and AI help optimize our safety programs.
That opening quarter mile was a quick one.
Every day, a commitment to improving their care. So win or lose, it's safety that runs first. To learn more, visit safetyrunsfirst.com.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
They came from across the globe, the world's champions.
An international affair.
Crossing oceans for finish lines. Flying from starting gates as champagne flowed. They took us all to the edge and became legends in the winner's circle. The world was here, and they brought everything they had with them.
That was a wow performance.
Grit defied odds. Long shots made history.
And a huge huge upset.
And we crowned 14 new champions from all over the globe. Del Mar was a world of luxury, grandeur, and unmatched excitement. Everything required for an experience that's always a breed apart.
The Breeders' Cup World Championship, live from Del Mar. For the third time, the Seaside Oval is proudly hosting the Breeders' Cup World Championships. 14 championship races with over $34 million in purses. Future Stars Friday, and we'll kick things off with the Juvenile Turf Sprint.
They're off. Magnum Force coming with a rush. Magnum Force has done it.
Magnum Force with a huge closing kick.
For a horse that had only won one race before, this is a huge step up.
Immersive, undefeated in 3 starts for Brad Cox.
Immersive is under a drive. She's got 3 lengths to make up, and she goes right on by at the 8th pole. Here is a champion, no doubt.
7th straight year that Brad Cox has had at least one Breeders' Cup win.
On the track is your 3 to 5 favorite, Lake Victoria.
She's got some tactical speed, definitely the horse to beat.
Lake Victoria's down on the inside and in behind a wall of horses, and here she comes as she swings up on the outside, and Lake Victoria goes right by to take the lead. She's just too good.
That was a wow performance. She keeps her unbeaten record intact.
Next up for us, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. You see Citizen Bull there, one of the longer shots here today at 13-1.
It is Citizen Bull that goes out to the early lead. Citizen Bull by 2. Citizen Bull and Martin Garcia to win.
You know what? He's really special. He reminds me a lot of American Pharoah. It's something like that.
So the final race of the day, the $1 million Juvenile Turf.
And they're into the stretch, and Dream On is the one to catch. And Ori Matisse is coming too. The driving finish, and Ori Matisse wins.
A 7th victory in this race for the trainer in Aidan O'Brien.
And now Aidan O'Brien ties D. Wayne Lucas for the most Breeders' Cup wins.
Yes, with 20.
Since 1984, this event has gathered the best of the best from around the globe to compete on one stage. A part of what makes this year's Breeders' Cup so special is the record international participation. With 5 continents represented, the question is clear: who is the best in the world? Let's kick off Championship Saturday with a PNC Bank Filly and Mare Sprint.
And Frosted Dawn was off to a slow beginning with Sullivan Angel way behind. Sullivan Angel is passing horses on the far outside, and they're into the stretch. Oh, it's wide open. Soul of an Angel in a huge upset.
Soul of an Angel from last to first.
I'm super excited. I mean, I'm containing myself now, but wait till I get to the champagne room.
Cochran comes in here today with an eye on the championship.
Perhaps the fastest horse in the world.
Irad Ortiz and Cockburn have a 4-length lead. Starlust is rallying up the rail, and they're getting to Cockburn now. Starlust comes from the clouds to win.
And they thoroughly deserve a Breeders' Cup trophy in their cabinet.
And Torpedo Anna begins to move away. This brilliant filly's going to take them all the way.
Was there ever any doubt Torpedo Anna, the Oaks winner, a Breeders' Cup champion, perhaps the horse of the year?
When I was in the Marine Corps, I'd come out here every August, sit on the rail with my cooler, and now I'm here in the winter circle with a great horse.
How does it compare?
This is much better.
All right, Rebels Romance trying to win for the 2nd time, won in 2012.
Rebels Romance has built a big lead here. Rousham Park is cutting into it. Rebels Romance, a Breeders' Cup winner again.
He's such a joy to ride, and you know he's an international superstar. Obviously tried to save some ground early and then work on a trip from there.
Well, Kevin Attard giving the instructions to Flavian. He's on Moira. She's running this twice before. She was 5th 2 years ago.
Probably Canada's most popular racehorse.
Moira now moves up on the outside. They're coming to the finish, and it is Moira. Oh, Canada.
Today she just proved that she's the best turf horse in the world.
The racing manager and the trainer have told me it is going to be raucous, not if, but when Straight No Chaser wins the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
Straight No Chaser and Ben Tornado straight, no chaser in the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
You better expand that winner's circle. 300 here, micro shares.
Straight, no chaser. Everybody, let's go!
More Than Looks trying to unwind from the back of the pack. More Than Looks coming, 10 Happy Rows on the inside. A wild finish that goes to More Than Looks.
Cherie DeVoe can now call herself a Breeders' Cup winning trainer.
They're off in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Full Serrano has taken the lead. Full Serrano in the Dirt Mile.
On behalf of the Breeders' Cup, but especially Cody, that this trophy will fill your hearts as much as it has ours.
There is so much buzz surrounding the big one, the Breeders' Cup Classic, and particularly this year because of the international participation.
Look, you have the best horse in Europe, City of Troy.
City of Troy is to this Breeders' Cup what Lionel Messi was to the World Cup in Qatar.
Wow.
It's that big
That
of a deal.
puts it in perspective.
What is City of Troy going to do? We've never seen this horse on the dirt. But I think Fierceness has just taken his game to a way different level since the Kentucky Derby.
The Chad Brown trained Sierra Leone, second in the Kentucky Derby, perhaps a bit overlooked here in the Classic.
He is talented, and he has a good closing kick. But he, again, will have to run better than he ever has before in order to win.
So we got international flavor, 3 Japanese horses, some American superstars, and a European trying dirt for the first time.
They're off. City of Troy broke near the back of the pack. A big separation to Pyrenees and next. Another gap back to Sierra Leone around the far turn. Fierceness has taken over the lead on the attack. Sierra Leone is revving up on the far outside as they come to the top of the stretch. Close to home, Sierra Leone does it in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Today was the day that he got it done.
Sierra Leone, second in the Kentucky Derby, behind no one today in the Classic.
He got the fastest pace in the history of the Breeders' Cup Classic, set up for him perfectly. What a kick this time by Sierra Leone.
Your winner, your champion here at Del Mar.
This fall, greatness returns to Del Mar, bringing with it everything that makes this a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and one you won't want to miss.
It's a very high bar set here a year ago for the Breeders' Cup World Championships, and yet, as we build up to 2025, it looks as if we're going to exceed it.
Which is absolutely crazy. I mean, what a treat for us to be here to see it firsthand, up close and personal with all of them.
And it's great. I mean, this is what what it was designed for by John Gaines back in the day, to bring the best to the best. And here we are, 4 decades later, and we've got a matchup like this in the Classic. I mean, this race stands the test of time year in, year out. When you go look through the winners of the Classic, I mean, Ferdinand, Alashiba, Sunday Silence, Unbridled, American Pharaoh. I mean, it's great, and we're going to get another good performance this year.
So I know you want to key in on Sovereignty because there's so much to digest here, and there's so many answers he's given us on the track, but they actually beg more questions, the most of which is, does he even have more? But I know you want to take a look at how he's developed throughout the year.
Yeah, I want to go back to, earlier this year before he had his first start in the Fountain of Youth. This was his first, before his first race this year, this is an unraced maiden. Oh, yeah, Sovereignty's on the outside, by the way, not the inside. And just look at this. I mean, he's getting beaten on face value here. If you watch this work, you're thinking he's getting outworked by an unraced maiden called Chillax. And you look at this work and you think, oh my goodness, how is this horse going to win the Kentucky Derby? I mean, he's dusted here. This was a gate work. Let's make no bones about it. But he's a horse that's developing, and his workouts mirror his race record if you look at it. This was the workout before the Florida Derby, and a much better workout. Working with Chillax, he's on the inside this time. You see how he asserts a little more authority in this work. He's not getting beaten by his workmate, and he's improved in that month from the Fountain of Youth to the Florida Derby. Then we fast forward to the work before the Kentucky Derby. That's him in the blue jacket. Now look at him. He's actually having to be restrained here in company rather than to be asked. And you can see a horse developing in the morning before your eyes, and you can see him developing in the afternoon before your eyes. The works mirror the performance in the afternoon. He's a bigger, stronger horse. I mean, just look at the difference with this work compared to the work that we showed you the first one in February. Drawing away from his stablemate under no duress at all. Just an outstanding performance here. And that was backed up just a week later in the Kentucky Derby with a victory for trainer Bill Mott. And then we take it, you know, he went through, obviously, the Belmont. And then we take it before the Travis, his final work before the Travis. And he's working in company here again. And again, a dominating workout in the morning and a dominating performance in the Travis. He won by 10 that day. So this here it is. And this is him on the inside. And he's in company here. Work righty. You know he's got a ton of horse. He's looking over his right shoulder there. And the goal here was to ask to finish. And look, 2 or 3 jumps, boom, daylight between his workmate. A totally different animal to the first work we showed you. The workouts, in this case, mirror the racing action, and you're watching a horse develop. He's got bigger, stronger, better, and I think there's even more left in the tank for the Classic. I thought it was very interesting as I went back and looked at those works and saw the comparison from morning to afternoon.
And what about his running style? Because he used to just take a dead aim and come from the back of the pack, and he's started to inch up closer and closer to the pace as he's developed and gotten better. So does that correspond with the works?
Yes, it correlates with the works. You saw he was a little slower early on, and then we showed you that Derby work, how he's under restraint. That's really the first race where, well, he's starting to show a little more speed, and now he's learned the game. And part of that is learning and developing as a racehorse. And Bill Mott's not teaching him much in the morning. He's doing those workouts, but he's learning from racing in the afternoon.
He is a tremendous talent, and it's just been a privilege and a treat to watch him run throughout the year. And he still has his biggest test in front of him with that Breeders' Cup Classic.
And the scary part is he ran 115 Bayer in his last start in the Travers Stakes, and quite frankly, it looked like he was easing up the last 16th of a mile. So you talk about a horse on the improve. And one thing of note with those works, he went 59-4 2 works ago. I don't think he's ever gone that quick either. So you talk about a horse that's prime for a big effort. I mean, look no further than Sovereignty.
I'll tell you, I'll put it out there now. He's going to run the best race of his career on Saturday. I think he wins the Classic hands down.
I can't argue with that. even with the competition facing him, you cannot say anything negative about Sovereignty. Nope. There are just no holes in his game. But that's why they run the race. That is why they run the race. Tickets are on sale now for the Breeders' Cup World Championships, Friday, October 31st, Saturday, November 1st. As there are seating options for everyone. Say it with me. From general admission to high-end dining tickets featuring specially curated dishes by Michelin-starred chef Curtis Stone. And we're going to have Curtis Stone on the show hopefully later this week. He's good friends with Michelle Yeoh. She cornered him last year as well.
Who isn't? Everyone's friends with Michelle.
I wonder if Michael McCarthy's
still friends.
I hope there's no egrets on that phone call. We'll be back with more as we wrap up breakfast at the Breeders' Cup on this first day of our 7-show run.
At Calumet Farm, we're proud to offer proven stallions to fit every breeder's needs. With over 72 million in progeny winnings on dirt and turf, our diverse roster is producing the champions of today and tomorrow. Calumet Farm, a legacy reborn.
Calling all!
Calling all!
Calling all! Trillionaires!
Calling all, calling all, calling all, trillionaires, calling all, calling all, calling all, trillionaires.
Come and join a club that has rewards for everyone. I'm talking birthday perks, free daily game, and other stuff that's fun.
Designed for people who love thrills like me and her and him, and with a weekly bonus pack, our thrills are filled up to the brim. Can you thrill me?
Yeah, because this will be like the most amount of pure glee that ya ever gonna get from rewards that start day one. So we're calling all,
calling all, calling all, trillionaires, calling all, calling all. Calling all, trillionaires, calling all, calling all, calling all, trillionaires, calling all, calling all.
Calling all trillionaires. FanDuel Casino.
A John Deere 3 Series tractor lets you tackle those bigger jobs with simple, intuitive controls that put the power in your hands and quick connect solutions to swap implements quickly with ease. From rotary cutter to rotary tiller to front loader. take on all your property's biggest challenges. You just have to get in the seat. John Deere is the official partner of the Breeders' Cup World Championships.
We're back here on Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup. Trainer Richard Baltas, he pre-entered 2 horses for the Breeders' Cup this year, and he has 2 very live chances. He'll have Sweet Azteca in the Filly Mare Sprint and also AG Bullet in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. Sweet Azteca, she's just down the other end of the shed row over here. She's undefeated this year. She is 2 for 2. She won the Great Lady M and the Rancho Bernardo. I remember talking to Richard Baltas after she won the Rancho Bernardo, and he was thinking, you know what, I'm probably just going to train Sweet Azteca up to the Breeders' Cup this year. And that's exactly what we did, or he did. Sweet Azteca is just trained up to the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint. She is expected to breeze tomorrow at 7:45. You guys know this gray right here. That is AG Bullet, 5-year-old daughter of Twirling Candy, 15 starts, 8 victories, banked over $2.7 million. She's had 3 runs this year, and she just had so much trouble in her seasonal debut in the Unbridled Sydney at Churchill Downs off that 5-month layoff. After that troubled trip, wins the Grade 1 Jaipur, goes to Kentucky Downs and wins the Grade 2 Ladies Turf Sprint. And she just missed in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint a year ago. She was 9-1 that day and just missed behind Starlust, a Notorious, 3rd defeated neck in a field of 11. She's going to try to do a couple spots better than she did a year ago for AG Bullet. She is also expected to breeze tomorrow. She's a turf horse, makes sense. She will breeze on the grass tomorrow here, Mike, for AG Bullet. So Richard Baltas, 2 very live chances in the Filly Mare Sprint and the Turf Sprint with Sweet Azteca and AG Bullet. Both of his horses will be breezing tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Joaquin. As we take a look at the horses in the Baltas barn right now, though, let's check in with Andy Biancone.
Well, guys, Lenny Lou is winding down for the morning. She walked for an hour, grazed for 15 minutes. We threw her alfalfa. She munched on that for a while, and she'll have her feed here shortly, and she's taking a little nap, but we're going to use this opportunity to do her bandages up. So I always like to rub their legs down with a bit of rubbing alcohol. Just kind of give them a little massage. It keeps their skin clean, and obviously you can get a good feel for their legs. As a trainer, an assistant trainer, whoever's working with these horses closely, you got to know their legs so you can note any changes where they have any heat or inflammation. But these are her bandages. We rolled them earlier. They're just standing bandages. So a lot of racehorses will wear these to just keep compression on their legs as they're standing in the stall throughout the day. And I start just on the inside of their cannon bone, and you always want to wrap going towards their rear end. So anytime you apply pressure, you want to be pulling on the front, not on their tendon. So I start about midway through, and Lenny Lou has tiny legs, so we can make kind of small, even wraps with her bandages. Sometimes on bigger horses, you can have a little bit more spacing, but she's tiny, and these are really nice big bandages, linen bandages. So we will just go ahead and go up, secure it just right below the knee there. And like I said, you just want even pressure and even wraps throughout. But I will tuck that in there as I get some masking tape from my groom box. And some people like to use safety pins. It's just personal preference. My dad likes to use masking tape because he doesn't always feel confident with a ton of safety pins flying loose around the barn. I'll just secure this here. And some horses have a tendency to mess with their bandages, so you might see some red chili marks on some horse bandages just to help them, just to discourage them from eating their bandages. But Lenny Lou is a good girl, and she does not, so she does not have any chili paste on there, but super happy camper. Like I said, she's resting right now. We'll pick out her feet, pack her feet, and cook her breakfast, and she'll be ready to be tucked in for the morning.
Thank you very much, Andy, the hands-on horsewoman that she is. We've seen it throughout her career here at FanDuel TV.
She can do it all.
Yep.
Bandages, gallop, do it all.
Well, I just love the juxtaposition because she's got this like really bubbly, nice personality. She's easily the toughest one of us, right? I mean, she's galloping horses every day. She's probably the most fit. She's easily the strongest. It's not even close. So earlier today, it was reported by multiple outlets, including David Grenig of the Daily Racing Form, that Locked is out of the Classic and will be retired to stud and stand at Gainesway Farm. When Todd Pletcher was reached for comment, he told David Grenig, he goes, I don't think he worked great last week. His gallops have just been so-so. He's got a little feeling in an ankle, all minor stuff. It just wasn't coming together. So he was going to miss the race, and he was always going to be retired at the end of the year. So they just made the announcement now.
Yeah, he might as well. If he can't make the Classic, there's not much left for him. And you know, if some issues, you know, all compounding, best thing to do. So he'll be going to stud at Gainesway for Eclipse Hybrids.
So there's a myriad of things that led to it, but nothing major, just couldn't make the race. Nothing that would really take him out of training, nothing, but you got one race left. Yep. He's not going to make it. So now the Classic field is down to 10. Todd Pletcher only has 3 horses in this year's Classic. Bummer. Start talking about the juvenile and the horse that really set California ablaze in the early stages of the summer meet here at Del Mar was Brant. As you are getting a look at him, he's one of those blinking dots.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see. I think he's on the inside there.
Yep, he's the gray. And yes, he's the gray horse down on the inside. So he's got a unique action. If you've ever seen this horse with a head-on view, he's got a remarkable action. He kind of throws out, he calls what we call dishes his left front. A very good horse called Vekoma back in the day did that. Exactly the same thing. And it doesn't affect his performance. He works here in company 112, 3/4 in 112. That's a pretty decent work, a typical Bob Baffert work on the faster side.
Yeah, and his last 2 works were 111 and 4.
Yep.
Back in so this is actually slower than what he's been doing, and yeah, he's absolutely cruising right along. You could see, I'm not sure there was a 3rd horse to the outside there, but kind of called it a day after the 3/16 pole could not go on with him.
Now, the question with Brant was he didn't look, I don't know, he was probably slightly better in the Del Mar Futurity than he was in his debut, but I think people were looking for an even bigger step forward. I felt like, as much as you can be, there was some disappointment in his Grade 1 victory. Does that make any sense?
It does. I mean, numbers never lie. He ran 101 Beyer and then regressed to a 91 Beyer, even though he won. So, I mean, I think people from his maiden victory when he won going by 5 lengths, I think they were kind of looking for the same thing. He even though he only won by a length, he still won.
I mean, he might turn out to be good. That day, Baffert ran another maiden called Boyd, a first-time starter, and the talk was after that day that Boyd was much visually more impressive than Brant. He was the one that came out of that day with all the hype. Fortunately, he's not here. I will say this, Brant beat his stablemate Desert, who came back at Santa Anita, only got beat a nose by Intrepido. So the form is holding up, at least on the West Coast.
Numbers never lie. You need a better tax accountant. Right now, let's check in with Michelle Yu.
Okay, so Michael McCarthy did text me back, and he said he would call me. He said give him a few minutes. It's been several minutes, so I'm going to try to call him again. Oh, I don't think he listened to my voicemail, though.
Hello.
Did you listen to my voicemail?
No. Should I?
Well, I don't know. I felt bad because you moved without me, and I don't know, like, if you packed everything or if you still needed something. Like, there's an awful lot of detergent here, some bleach.
Yeah, I'm all good.
You're all. What about the money plant? I'm very concerned that you didn't take it with you because it's so big. I feel like it's exceptionally good luck.
I've got plenty enough with me for right now.
You brought a traveling money plant. What about this extra set of glasses on your desk?
I found those, so you're more than welcome if you need them.
I feel very useless now, Michael, when you moved so early. What went into the decision to move to Del Mar so early?
Peace and quiet.
All right. Well, I'll see you on Tuesday.
All right, cool. Drive safe.
Bye. Peace and quiet. I mean, I guess you're not going to get that around here.
Felt like that peace and quiet was pointed at someone.
That was great.
Don't know who. At any rate, Michael McCarthy. The thing is, he's all business, and yet on these breakfast shows, we get him to play. Like,
it's
great.
his boss.
Yeah.
Todd Pletcher is the same way. People think he's all, but behind the scenes, he's a funny guy.
Todd's got a very good dry sense of humor.
Yeah.
Let's check in with Andy Biancone.
So Lenny's got her 4 bandages on. We picked her feet, packed them with Epsom salt poultice, and put on some Corona onto her feet. That's basically just to keep their cornet bands hydrated, kind of like keeping your cuticles hydrated. But now it's time to brush her. Obviously, brushing keeps their coat nice, but it's also really good for blood circulation. So super important after a long trip. But Lenny loves a good brush. She's just been eating up the attention. You can see her kind of licking and chewing here. But she's a very sweet filly and very easy to work with, so grooming her is a breeze. Don't bite me.
You know, my dog needs a good brushing if you're free after the show, Andy. It's kind of shedding. It's that time of year. At any rate, let's get back out to the track as Peter Urton's Encanto, who will be running in the the turf sprint. Getting all my names confused. The Prevagen Turf Sprint. Take a look. This horse coming off of a disappointing effort down at Remington Park, but he's been okay here at Del Mar. Finished second against the Lowndes Company on August 23rd.
Yeah, but ran in the Oceanside, too. That was going a mile with 7th being 4 1/4. But I would say from a numbers standpoint, his top buyer is an 88. He's going to have to run significantly higher to be competitive in the Breeders' Cup, but it is coming off a 6th-place effort last time.
Yeah, speaking of numbers, he's going to be big double digits as far as morning line odds, I think. I mean, this is a big step up for him. He's not a graded stakes winner. He broke his maiden for $50,000 claiming tag. So, I mean, it's a big jump up. Obviously, 5 furlongs on the turf is his thing, and that's where they're taking a shot here. But I think it gets pretty tough in here for him.
So Encanto in the turf sprint for Peter Urton, a long shot, as he's 2 for 15 lifetime, looking for his 3rd career victory in the toughest test of his life. But pretty good out there in the morning, and we'll see him come the turf sprint on Saturday, November 1st.
Well, talk about long shots. Remember Peter Urton won the Breeders' Cup with, what he paid, $80-something?
Yes. Storm the Court.
Yeah, Storm the Court, yeah.
Champion juvenile that year.
If anyone can do it.
Peter Urton can. We're just about done. First day of the Breeders' Cup, Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup shows. Simon, you were great. Joe, well, it was good to see you.
Same here, Mike.
We got a lot coming up tomorrow, but we're going to continue the discussions of all the contenders. For everyone who makes the show possible, we will be coming back tomorrow. And don't forget, Monday, the 27th, we have the Breeders' Cup Draw Show, hosted by Brittany Urton, Nick Luck, Joaquin, Andy, and Rishi Prasad will be a part of that Breeders' Cup Draw Show brought to you by Rude and Riddle. We will have the pre- and post-draw analysis along with post-position and odds as they are revealed for all 14 Breeders' Cup Championship races. I'd like to thank everyone who was involved in this show. Scott Hazelton, Caden Bradar, Joaquin Jaime, Andy Biancone, of course, Michelle Yu, Simon Bray, Joe Talamo. I'm Mike Joyce. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back tomorrow morning for more Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup.
Go Dodgers.